Hello. It is time. Hosting another raffle tournament. They're gonna be all raffle tournaments from here on out. And the idea is simple. Very simple indeed. It's a normal Warhammer tournament, but you have a mod installed with unit price adjustments. And if you want to... if you want to join the raffle and have a chance at a free DLC of your choice, you just gotta submit 2 replays to the replay channel on my Discord, or you can or you can make it to top 4. If you win the whole tournament, you also get a DLC. I talked with Creative Assembly and they said that's totally fine. You can sign up now, you can sign up anytime in the next hour and a half. And probably get in soon enough to get all your games scheduled. Should be good. And we will continue hosting events like these to try and push for me doing more regular balance changes. Because I think they are sorely needed. You can catch streams now that you're back in Canada? Hell yeah, man. Yo, happy to hear. Also, by the way, I'm using this unit today. This glorious blood crusher of corn. Look at him. Isn't he just amazing? I tried him. It felt bad. But it was against ogres. They're anti-infantry specialists, I guess. Compared to fiends, stat-wise, it is a little worse. Do they have frenzy? They have hellblade. They don't have frenzy. Oh my goodness. Okay, so they're slower, higher leadership. So they have higher armor, leadership. Stat-wise, fiends win because soporific musk. They have less damage, slightly more charge bonus. Basically tanky fiends that are worse in almost every other way. They're just slightly tanky fiends that just don't get a lot of stuff done. I guess they have a higher entity count, so maybe their damage catches up. Anti-infantry, they actually hit about as hard as fiends, so maybe they're amazing. I don't know. But yeah, all you gotta do is head to my Discord, find EntBot, and hit !join. And you'll be good to go. Skull crushers as well, anti-infantry and anti-large. 1900's very steep, but I will do my best. And the hope is we can make these guys work better than fleshhounds, because fleshhounds are the gold standard of corn mobility right now. But if these guys end up being anywhere half decent, it'll be a nice mix-up, and that's kind of what we want with this mod. What's your opinion on the Kadai Destroyer? Actually a good unit. Big monsters that are nearly unkillable are coming back into the meta. Because there's a lot of melee factions that don't bring a ton of single entity killing power. And if you can spam chaff, it works pretty well. Like, you can't actually kill a Kadai Destroyer with most melee factions. Not unless you bring like a skew build into it. So yeah, I think it's sick. And our first opponent is here. It's Beard. Yo. Alright, let's do it. We got all the changes in for the mod, by the way. So I think Chosen for Warriors of Chaos are updated to more reasonable prices. Honestly, this looks like the normal price. I don't know why this guy costs 1400 normally. Is that true? Does he normally cost 1400? There's no way. Or have their prices been updated? Now I'm forgetting. Balance mod changes. Warriors of Chaos. No, these are... This is right. This is right. This is right. This usually costs 1,400. Holy crap. Who's paying 1,400 for a chosen halberd? I guess Slaughter Guard are 1,800, but I don't think they're that good either. By the way, we did get our raffle winner done the other day. Oh, I should let them know. Tournament is a go. Late check-ins welcome. Nice. Alright, hopefully my opponent's not AFK or something. What faction are they playing? Okay, so they're counter picking. Nice. We're on Putrefying Carcass. I hope they pick dwarves. I would love to see Blood Crushers versus dwarves. You like chosen halberds? I feel like they're definitely cool. You would take Cold One Knights over Blood Crushers any day? Let's do a stat comparison while we wait for our opponent. Cold One Knights are... They are lower statted across the board. Blood Crushers have more speed, but Cold One Knights have more entities, and they have anti-large, which is probably the best thing about them. They have 14 anti-large, so they can actually sit in cavalry fights and outgrind. And that honestly makes a world of difference, doesn't it? And they're cheaper. Quite significantly cheaper. Yeah, that's crazy, man. I reduced Blood Crusher prices by 200. You're a sucker for elite infantry. I hope we can see more elite infantry. They see a little bit of play nowadays, but fairly not popular. Got more signups going, hell yeah. I see Meaty Dangler signed up, that's very exciting. Alright, is my opponent here? I might need to use the report AFK function if they are. If they don't respond, I would rather not. But if we gotta do it, we gotta do it. I just need to make sure the command works properly, otherwise I'm gonna have to manually edit the database, which is always extremely scary. They need to be AFK for 15 minutes for me to do that. You know, I can do. We got the replays from the person who won the last raffle. Yeah. Look at this. Yo, double Dreadquake Mortar. This one starts with the Dreadquake Mortar. If you win the raffle, your replays may be viewed. They need to cost 1,200 max. Blood Crushers? I don't know. They might be extremely good versus infantry. Alright, here we go. But yeah, this was played by a Zed Leplin. So they won the raffle. Getting a DLC for themselves. Some pretty cool shenanigans. They got the sick Dreadquake Mortar. They're going way too wide. But they're playing multiplayer, which is the important thing for me. Look at this. Blunderbusses too? Oh my gosh. Blunderbusses are definitely really annoying if for players who don't know how to like get the flanking on. If you just face charge blunderbusses, it will hurt. And quite a bit. Blood Crushers with a Nurgle healer slash debuffer. Maybe I should have played ooh, nice pivot. Maybe I should have played Demons of Chaos. The thing is, if I'm playing Demons of Chaos, I just go Fiends, right? Seekers for anti-cav. Oh my goodness, look at these guys. Is that 600 value? 500 value on these guys. 9-4. Yep. Checks out. Making sure the numbers line up. Still haven't gotten a message from my opponent. It happens. Sometimes it be that way. I did match into bird, right? Yeah. Oh, Blunderbuss is getting countered by the Ungor Raiders. Pretty smart. It's a pretty fun game. You get to see a lot of blunderbusses, a lot of artillery shots. Beastmen might just win by capturing all the points, though. But undoubtedly, the artillery's getting a lot of damage. Big question, though. Will the Butchers of Kalkengard cook? They eat a mortar to the face, but they're monstrous infantry. The miss might go on the blunderbusses. Yeah. It's nice. It's nice. You get to see like some new players trying out different things. We got Malagor just charging in onto the Overseer. Good artillery hits, though. Now, can these guys kill the Minotaurs? And are the Minotaurs attacking the train or the blunderbusses? Smart. Attacks the more higher DPS blunderbusses. A big hit. And gonna rout off the train at the same time. Chaos Dwarves are definitely suffering from going a little too tall, a little too elite. The ticket's a little close. Opponent still hasn't messaged back. He has 5 more minutes. Big hell cannon shot, though. Dude, this thing's crushing it. So the Soul of Damnation gets a reload skill buff if there's units within range. Basically get to rapid fire with it. And it makes use of that high ammo pool. It triggers, yeah. The units have to get pretty close for it to trigger. But quite nifty. Here's the thing, though. I don't think the Chaos Dwarves are going to be able to capture any points. We're seeing a big loss here with the Blazing Beards getting caught up. They definitely win against all these guys, but the blunderbusses are not going to be as happy. Overseer over here, doing his bestest. Look at him go. Guys are marching. The Foot Overseer is an interesting choice. Oh, Black Gem of Nar. Minus 100% melee attack and makes him invulnerable for 13 seconds. That's enough to block 1 attack from the enemy. That's 2 uses. Yeah, that's not that crazy, is it? It can save you like 700 damage if you're getting hit by a giant. So if you ever need your Overseer to last 1 more hit against a giant, I guess that's useful. It would be pretty cool if it was not a contact effect. Wait, no, it makes him lose melee attack for 13 seconds. Oh crap, that's even worse. But it makes him not take damage. I see. So he can't do that. No one can do damage. That's still very useless. Ignore 2 Spirit Leeches. It doesn't last long enough. Spirit Leech is what, 13 seconds? This thing, it is 13 seconds. Okay, if you time it perfectly with Spirit Leech, you can ignore 2 Spirit Leeches. That's 14,000 HP, which is actually not a lot of HP. How much more money? You might as well just let them die and resummon them. You save more money that way. Unless the item costs like 100 gold. If it's 100 gold, that's a little bit more acceptable. Ooh, big hell cannon shot. Routing off everything. Everybody getting beat up for the bed. But do we have any capture weight to speak of? We see no cavalry. The Bestigors actually did kill the Blazing Beards. I thought these were Pestigors. But nah, these guys are sick. Crazy high stats. They're weird. You got to treat them like cavalry and cycle charge with them. That's how you maximize your Bestigor value. You were the Wood Elf player against the double Dreadquake? Oh, dang. Did it go well? I'd love to hear. Okay, and we got a Great Taurus coming in. Sure. So he's gonna be moving into have some cool animations, all right. At this point, even if the dwarves do capture a point, they only have 1.5 minutes. Or no, 2.5 minutes to capture the other two, which is definitely not enough time. Though they did a good job at uptrading, which is something that a lot of people are not very good at in their first domination games. A lot of people are way too gung-ho about capturing points. They lose their entire army and then it's game over. You know, better to uptrade and lose on tickets than to downtrade and lose everything. Yeah, we got Great Taurus. Look at him go.
One of your units has been destroyed.
And my opponent message, hell yeah. But yeah, this is gonna be a beastman victory. Alright, so we got our opponent. Let's go. So that was our raffle winner. If you want to give some of your life to the Warhammer tournament scene, you can sign up for the tournament. You can sign up for the tournament. And all you gotta do is we're just aura farming. You can sign up for the tournament, play 2 games, drop out of it, and send your replays to me. Lizardmen, ogres, or tomb kings? I'll go versus lizardmen. I feel like these blood crushers could be really good versus lizardmen. So let's try it. Worst cav in the game. Can it be done? With the 200 gold price reduction. That is like, what, 15%-ish? Cost decrease? In theory, that's pretty good. I don't know if they beat Cold One Knights, but we'll see. Let's, how do we want to do this? I think I could do Temple Guard against Blood Crushers. Oh, who wins? One's anti-infantry, one's anti-large. Lizardmen have a pretty hard time versus Man-Tides, don't they? Don't they have a pretty hard time clearing vast swaths of infantry? Do these tournaments count for the leaderboard? Currently, no, but I will try to get them to count eventually. If that's a deal breaker for you, so be it. But I would hope that the changes are minimal enough where it's fine, but that's kind of a long-term thing. If I do manage to get it, maybe I can do it retroactively, if we're lucky. Skink Tide. Yeah, Man-Tide v Man-Tide gets a little weird. Man-Tiding works when the enemy cavalry is not very good, so this will be a good test for Blood Crushers. What else is good versus Lizardmen? feel like Wrathmongers might not be bad, but there's a few abilities and spells that will just nuke them. And I am a little terrified of that. There he is. We got Baird. It's on Putrefying Carcass. Lizardmen do have aquatics on this map, mind you. Terrifying. Let's see here. We're gonna deal with some Croxagores. Very likely we're gonna be dealing with some Croxagores. Maybe some big monsters, maybe some flyers. We'll see. Always important to have at least a couple Furies to protect you against such things. And then we're gonna try it. Worst cav in the game. Fingers crossed they don't suck. Also, Temple Guard versus Chaos Warriors of Khorne. I don't know how that plays out. This will be really interesting, actually. The great thing about Khorne, though, you don't need to remember to take a caster. Amazing. Alright, let's try this. Start the day off. Some nice simplicity. Carnosaurs being bad in multiplayer. They're better than you'd think. I think they're a solid B tier. There's just a lot of other cool options. Dang, Azek already finished their game. Dangler already finished their game. Oh my goodness. These guys are crushing it. The matches, they being played. Nice, we have some new players. Facing off too. Very nice. I do really want to push for new players to join. If you guys have any tips, you can leave feedback. Sure, 5 Wolf Riders would beat Blood Crushers. I'm not so sure about that. Wolf Riders are pretty bad. Wolf Riders are actually like bottom tier cavalry. They're only useful for chasing off units. Wolf Rider skirmishers, slightly different, but yeah, let's not get crazy here, all right? Wolf Riders ain't that hype. Okay, here's the build. We call this the wall. Ready? Good luck, have fun. The idea is simple. Walk forwards. Capture the points. Lizardmen are bad at getting... They're bad at getting damage in quickly. Did it order my guys weird? It did. I can't believe it. There we go. It didn't order them right. How dare this game. Alright, here we go. Skull Takers Chad. We got a Feral Troglodon to try and snipe him. A Majda Mundi. What's he got? Some big spells, a net, healing, harmonic convergence. That's a lot of spells. We see 5, 3, 4, 5. That's his whole army. There's nothing stealthed. And if I'm worried about the Troglodon, Troglodon doesn't clear infantry. Interesting that we see some Temple Guard. Okay. Got a couple Temple Guard going. Sure. Sure. Ouch. Okay, yeah, his shots are a little hard to dodge on this big old motorbike. Skull Taker's got to back it up. But we'll be fine. At the end of the day, this build is not set to actually clear my units very fast at all. It's just gonna be a little too slow at that. At least that's the hope. I keep spamming infantry. Temple Guard are strong. They're pretty good at up trading. But they're pretty bad at clearing out units. It's an interesting Lizardmen build. I did buff the Temple Guard. There's reason to try it out. Alright, let's push on in. And then what's he gonna do with the Mazda Mundi? I do wonder. Let's hide those guys in the trees in case he doesn't notice. It's not like they have much else to do. And here comes the fight. So, yes, Temple Guard in. They're doing their bestest. You know what does well, though? Maybe the Blood Crushers. Maybe the Blood Crushers are amazing here. Gotta make sure I don't overextend, by the way. I'm just gonna send in the infantry into the grind. He does have some big old Croxagores I gotta be wary of. I don't think they're a big deal. And Skulltaker can bully this guy a little bit. I think he got netted, but it's okay. He'll be fine. Star Chamber Guardians are kind of a menace, though. Gotta be real careful of those. As long as I don't get a Mega Wreck, though. That net does put him on cooldown and burn some magic. Question is, can I get onto these Croxagores with these Halberds? That would be the best case scenario. See, he really wants to kill my dudes. Gonna escape with as many as we can. Don't want that banishment killing everybody. Good surround on the Temple Guard, though. Very nice. Just have to stop him from flanking. Okay, let's get the big boys in there. How's Skulltaker doing? Pretty good. And I do finally have my Cav in here. This triple cap is nice, but for how long can we keep it up? I think I need some Furies to stop his shooting from being such a menace. Thankfully for me, Skulltaker is just living. There's one thing he's good at, it's just sitting around being a menace. I have no source of terror, though. But I think that's okay. He's gonna net me down, but that doesn't really cause me too many issues, does it? I think we're just kind of chilling. Yeah, we're just kind of chilling. You know, it's just a long grind. But like, Khorne is the master of long grinds. So like, I don't know. Temple Guard are good, but I don't think they're beat Khorne in melee good, as they are primarily anti-large specialists. Swinging these guys. Skulltaker's still doing very good. He's given that leadership buff. Very nice. And now we can make use of our mobility advantage, because both sides have kind of been spamming the infantry. Let's get Skulltaker in here. How's my Cav doing? Pretty damaged, actually. Pretty badly damaged at that. A little embarrassing. And now he's casting more magic. Another net. Really making use of those nets. I think we're okay, though. Skulltaker's still fine. Furies are mostly fine. I'm gonna check out another unit of Furies just to bully the skirmishers a bit. Let's actually debuff the Temple Guard too while we're at it, just to get the job done and actually kill them. Then I'll just avoid the Feral Cold ones for now. So you don't really want to be dealing with them just yet. See, they're gonna rear charge me a bit, but that's okay. And okay, we're gonna see Ripperdactyls. How do I feel about Ripperdactyls? So obviously it counted to my Furies. I could make my Furies unkillable though, and if he doesn't notice, he might lose a Ripperdactyl for a Fury, which would be an insane trade for me. Time-wise, I would say we're looking pretty good. Time is on my side. Let's get some horsemen in, since we still have that mobility advantage. The Blood Crushers, I don't know if they're cooking. It's very hard to say. The Furies, they didn't really do well versus Ripperdactyls either. A little awkward, but we are killing the Croxagores. What's their value? Blood Crushers of Khorne, 200. That's pretty bad, so they should not be staying in this fight. They should be thinking about disengaging, doing literally anything else. No summons on this point yet either, which is very good. Skulltaker has hit some kill thresholds too, so he should have extra resistances, I think. That's a great thing about Skulltaker. And then we're gonna pull away with the Cav. How do I feel about the Cav? Do they feel good or do they feel terrible? Another net. I feel like he's just been spamming nets and hasn't really been using much of his other magic. Oh, he did Apotheosis the Ripperdactyls. So they did efficiently kill the Furies. Unfortunate. No, he summoned another one. Okay, I see. Here's the thing, though. We're kind of just chilling now. We're kind of just chilling now. Life's not too bad. You can't capture points with Ripperdactyls at the end of the day. I will say my cavalry has been absolutely horrendous, but you know what? That's okay. Dude, these blood crushers, they got bullied. I guess I didn't give them the best of circumstances. Oh man, there's no way they're that bad though, right? A cav unit can't be that bad. Yo, what's the capture weight on these guys? Okay, so they do have elite capture weight. Have to be a little careful about them. I gotta make sure I don't get army wiped, actually. We're gonna need more capture weight for sure. We got our dudes over there. Our Skull Taker doing. He's still barely alive. But he doesn't have any more support over here, which is pretty bad. I'm actually rapidly running out of units right now. Maybe I should have stuck with summoning just pure infantry. Okay, he has a skink summon over there. That's not too bad. Time-wise, I have a little bit of time. I just have to be a tiny bit careful. Gotta make sure that this Skull Taker doesn't die. We'll just retreat with him. As long as he's in combat, he's healing. He's very good for that. Okay, you know what? These Marauder Horsemen need to live another day. If I trade out too quickly, we're doomed. It's gonna be a bunch of captures all at once. But can they go for the last point in time? The Lizardmen do not have that much time, and a lot of their army is out of position, so I think we might be able to still win. But odds are it's going to be a little dicey. We have some Ripperdactyls, we have Mazdamundi. It's pretty chill. I think we can manage there. But it's gonna be sus. Especially with Skull Taker. Probably gonna be taking a lot of damage. I'm gonna have to summon the Blood Crushers. Alright, Blood Crushers, this one's on you. If they don't hold, we're doomed. Which is not a very pretty situation to be in. Oh man, this entire game off the backs of the Crushers. Let's see it. Okay, he should be able to kill the Troglodon at least. I can make Skull Taker unkillable if I have to. It's kind of getting taken to Pound Town by Mazdamundi, however. Let's retreat with them for a little bit. I don't think he'll die. I think he'll be okay. Okay, here we go. Here comes my big cav. Work it. Get it done. We're going to be able to kill off these guys pretty well. Nice, big routes. That one Croxagore is going to be a problem. But okay. My boy is still alive. I should be able to get onto the points. And stall it for a bit longer. Skull Taker's a Chad. Never give up, never surrender. My anti-infantry boys are in. They're doing some crazy work on those skinks, actually. Come on, Skull Taker, live. I need you to live, bro. If it looks like he's gonna die, I can always get more boys here. That's just a skink cohort. That's not too bad. His healing is immense. The guy don't die. We have capture weight. Hell yeah. Okay, all right. Come on, just kill that Troglodon, buddy. Just kill the Troglodon and you're good. I have capture weight and I have a Sword of Corn. Let's throw it right over here. Just kill off the skinks. Oh my gosh, Skull Taker, the unkillable. That's a lot of dead skinks. The last dash for the final point, but my opponent's down trading pretty hard now. I think this is gonna do it. Did these guys cook? Yeah, they're actually doing not bad now that they're actually pitted against infantry. Troglodon should be off the field soon too. Very nice. I think we're gonna get our first win with the Blood Crushers. Because of the Blood Crushers? Maybe not. But with blood crushers, absolutely. Troglodon is now off the battlefield. I repeat, the Troglodon is off the battlefield. Huzzah. Man, these guys are squishy though. Hey, look at that. 160 kills. Now, would Flesh Hounds have been better?
Glory is yours.
Probably. Probably. But, a win's a win. Well played, bird. Jeez. Nice. We gotta make sure we have, things good. All right, nice. All right, good stuff. Take one skull crusher just to fight large units. I think that would have been nice. It's kind of nice seeing my guys cook though. Eating up all the infantry. In total, they got about 1,000 gold value. I don't know what it is that makes them feel so bad. I guess they were getting countered by nets and such. All right. All right, a horseman. Pretty good. Got the blood crushers. Honestly, I think just pure infantry spam would have done it. Temple Guard, though. 1,000 gold for Temple Guard? Or is it 1,100? Seems like a pretty good price considering the value they got. It's kind of nice to see them, but they just don't have the deeps to clear an army like this, even if they do get value. Sacred Coxigors were a menace, though. And the Ripperdactyls actually didn't do that bad either. An interesting situation. Alright, I'm up against Azek next. Yo, yo! Also, I think the new, declaring how new of a player you are function is working out pretty well. Matchmaking feels a lot tighter now that you can actually just say, you know, if you're a new player or not. It helps a lot because if you're a new player, it is actually impossible to queue into me for your first game. So not only do I get better games, they get better games. Seems like a success to me. Is my opponent Tomb Kings? Chateau. It's Corn versus Tomb Kings. Oh boy. Can I get the super high armor cavalry to work here? They're probably better than Flesh Hounds, at least. For being anti-infantry, they have pretty small splash attacks. Blood crushers. Are they like overkilling infantry? Is that what's going on? You get better games. You get better games. GG's. Yeah, Bird, that was super close. Super duper close. Those nets were really pinning down my stuff. So Tomb Kings, I know Screaming Skull catapults can be a little annoying sometimes. You do need something to jump them. If you can't get onto them, they can just sit back and farm value and then win the capture late game. And that's pretty bad. If I do something like this, though, I'm going to be a little stronger against such strategies. Still, you gotta be careful. Screaming Skull catapults for Tomb Kings is actually one of their best units. It is insanely good at just locking down the value trading. Now, for some factions, you can capture the points and play keep away, which is a decent strat versus artillery. But for infantry builds, less so. You don't really have that option there. Overall, though, my build seems fairly okay. I think this probably gets the job done. Should I take some Knights of the Brazen Throne for... Excuse me, anti-large? No, you said Skull Crushers for anti-large. I'll try it. I don't know if it's a good idea, but I will try it. Let's see, there's also like, maybe I can just spam infantry. Sometimes Tomb Kings will go for the big monster build though, where they just run around with super strong single entities, which are pretty good versus these melee factions. The small entity count for Blood Crushers? Maybe. Triple Blood Crusher has to be good at smashing skeletons. I don't know, man. They're probably good in a vacuum, but against Ushabti, the question is whether or not they destroy Skeleton Horsemen. If one Blood Crusher can be stalled by Skeleton Horsemen for the whole game, that's bad. Like 3 Skeleton Horsemen. If you can't kill them fast enough, your super elite unit is stuck just fighting chaff forever. If they kill them quickly, that's amazing though. And sometimes you can have them kill quick. Brazen Throne being anti-infantry always bugged you. Yeah, they should be like super anti-large specialists. Just gotta help someone. Alright. Brazen Throne are actually very good into Cavern monsters. The unit costs 1700 though. That is a pretty penny. So I could see like after magic is gone, after the Ushabti are dead or out of ammo, you can bring in a late game Knights of the bring in the Brazen Throne or what have you to clean up. A lot of these very strong late game units do well, or elite units do well in the late game because most of the killing stuff, the high DPS stuff is gone. And you run into more smaller skirmishes, which end up being more closer to a fight in a vacuum. They don't even have that high armor. It's higher than Fiends, though. Technically, Blood Crushers should be stronger than Fiends. Although, because Fiends have soporific musk, it's hard to say. This is my artillery killer, by the way. So I've gone for a more mobile army this time around because I don't want to have to deal with Screaming Skull catapults destroying all my armor. I had exactly 1,350 left over, so I have a Blood Crusher of Khorne. Skull Taker, because he's one of the best lords in the entire game. Pretty good luck, have fun. And, yeah. Basically that. Just a standard block of dudes. How does one counter Empire's Grenade Horsemen as Coast, Counts, and Tomb Kings? As Coast, you use pistol mobs. As Vampire Counts, you can use bats. You can use fell bats. You can use dogs. Just kill them with your vampire dogs on the cheap. You can use Crypt Horrors to screen them out. It's a little trickier with Vampire Counts, but they definitely have options. And with Tomb Kings, you use Skeleton Horsemen. In general, the counter to Outriders is just a little bit of mobility. Interesting that we see some chariots here, by the way. Sphinx is very standard, though. We got some infantry in the backfield, okay. Some Nahakar warriors. This is nothing crazy, though. Okay, these guys I'm putting at 1. We're saving them for that inevitable artillery summon. This is a lot of dudes. It's a lot of dudes I have here. Burning some ammunition is always nice. Then we're just gonna move on over here. And then, how do I deal with these? Well, they are chariots, so I don't want the chariots to run over my guys. I don't have flesh hounds, but I do have more of these dudes. Hopefully they do well. Interesting. We see some carrion over here. And the Sphinx got me. Well, that's gonna suck. It's gonna be a lot of damage on my very expensive Blood Crushers. That's okay, though. We'll live. At the end of the day, it's just a couple Blood Crushers. The unit itself is still mostly alive. And we have another Blood Crusher here to get the job done. Gonna intercept the chariots here and try and catch them. If we get them good, if we get them just right, we'll be in a magnificent position. Looks like one of them might get caught. The other one we can brace against. There's not a lot of support here either, so I should be able to take care of this situation. Nice. Okay, nice. That actually makes up for a lot of our early game losses. Being able to get so much damage on the chariots. Love to see that. Skull Taker's doing great. He's having a dandy time. And as long as I deny value on this Sphinx, I think we are in a good position. Let's actually get the dogs on it, because I want these guys for the infantry. And then I'm going to start spamming Khorne Gores. I don't think the Sphinx has enough infantry clearing power, actually, to win this. And I feel like we can actually get a lot more work done by just spamming infantry. I don't think there's actually enough here for the Tomb Kings to clear. This is kind of a weird call to make, because it reduces my agency by quite a bit, but I still feel fairly confident. Skull Taker doing lots of work. We still have that triple cap too. And finally, I can get my Blood Crushers on infantry. Sphinx is just busy, man. He can't hit anything. Guy's got like no targets. Very nice. And Khorne is doing pretty good. Now, would Flesh Hounds be better? I don't know. Let's take a look at these guys. Already 500 value, showing that they are actually quite good at clearing off infantry. I think this Carrion was an accidental summon, by the way, because Carrion are not very good against this arm. Skull Taker just being invincible as always. We'll debuff the Ushapti so that we can get him killed a little faster. And I'll save up for the Sword of Khorne because it's an amazing ability. Nice, look at these guys. They actually caught the chariots. Solid 800 value. They are okay fast at 70 speed. That is a very decent amount of speed. I would not say the strongest unit I've ever seen in my life, but yeah, they're all right. It's very much a get the job done type situation. But we are definitely in a mega advantage situation now. Tomb Kings were not really built to eat corn in the melee. I'm surprised he went so hard on the skirmishers, because he wasn't able to skirmish that much, honestly. And the Screaming Skull catapults, having none of those was pretty rough. So GG, well played. A solid victory. Usually, I think you could go like cut the infantry, take a the kitty cat, the other Sphinx, and then use that to just run over the infantry. And then I have to bog it down with these guys. But then you're killing them with the Sphinx of Uskep. That seems like it'd be a lot better. Blood Crushers were okay that time. They still didn't really pay for themselves, but having the mobility piece was just decent. And they're slightly sturdier than dogs. They'd be able to win handily versus skeleton horsemen, unlike the dogs. So not bad. Best Cav does it again. What makes Skull Taker so good? Relatively cheap, insane fighter though. So for 2,150, it's about the same price as like Archaon. You don't get the spells, but as a fighter, he's insane. Very strong versus infantry. You're looking at basically max chance to hit versus most infantry. Gore Feast for regeneration to keep him alive. A whopping 7,000 HP. And Bloody Onslaught, which makes any lord melt to him. Now technically his melee defense is low, but that doesn't matter very much when you have 130 armor. And 155 with the Cloak of Skulls. Especially with immune to flanking too. That makes you insanely strong. Immune to flanking will help with single entity fights because you can cycle charge freely. Alrighty. But yeah, basically he's just one of the tankiest characters in the game. 150 armor is ludicrous. Razak, nice. Yo. Alright. Let's get Mr. Razak in here. Brazen Throne Massacre infantry so fast. Yeah, they got Murderous Charge, which is just like a free insta delete on any infantry you're charging into. We got the Sirens. Fleshhounds trade well into all Tomb King's cav, if I remember correctly. Oh, well, never mind then. The thing is, this guy is cheaper than 2 Fleshhounds. If your Blood Crusher's getting double the value of your Fleshhounds, it means it's worth, right? Fleshhound's at 95 speed though, and Vanguard. I really want to try just ramming this guy into Cavalry and seeing if they win. If they can't beat Cold One Knights, they're garbage. Hashut's Oil Fields. Been a while. And we're against Vampire Counts. Blood Crushers versus Vampire Counts. Maybe I want that for the infantry clear. Oh boy, alright, let's see this. Vampire Counts are a tricksy faction. Lizardmen, your campaign favorites have not translated well into your attempts. Maybe I should give Corn a chance next time. In Corn for multiplayer is a solid choice. Very easy to pilot. Also, by the way, for all the people who are just helping out in my chat, helping out new players, thank you so much. All right. Mr. Razak, Vampire Counts. Hashut's Oil Fields is a good map for Corn. Vampire Counts are not exactly very mobile. They'll just be stuck running around trying to get to the points the whole time. I would say I feel pretty comfortable with this match. But yeah, I will get some multiplayer guides for new players at some point. Right, nice. Alrighty. Does Mr. Razak need to get the mod? We'll see. Grail Guardians OP. How did we end up here? Is it Pope Patty's doing? Do Knights of the Brazen Throne or Skull Crushers, do they beat Grail Guardians? Actually, they have pretty intense stats. Are you kidding me? Look at that. 44, 42, and Frenzy. So they have 54 melee attack. Yo, that's kind of hype. Maybe I should use Skull Crushers more. Should watch your first replay for some glorious triple Grail Guardian tech. Tempting, very tempting. They lose to almost all elite cavalry. Oh no. That's sad. Really? All elite cavalry? Yo, Pope Patty, do you think you'll end up like, you think you'll end up like our resident Hydra enjoyer? Everyone's just gonna counter your Grail Guardian tech? What if, man? What if? Although, like, how do you counter Grail Guardians? Luminarch. What if they start running Luminarchs to counter your Grail Guardians? You'd be screwed. It's so over. Okay, I'm not liking how my build is shaping up. I think it's still very good versus vampire counts, but there's a little bit of jank that I'd like to work out. Do I take Skull Crushers just to beat Blood Knights? How hard do they crump Blood Knights? I feel like the armor piercing makes a big difference. Yeah, at some point though, once you do another layer of balancing, maybe we do buff Grails. Although, like, the units that are kind of usable, I don't know if I want to touch them. I feel like it's much safer to go for the other stuff. People overestimate how often you bring Grail Guardians, so they prepare for it even though I don't bring it. I guess because they're just really tanky cavalry, you can't really just bring something that hard count as Grail Guardians. It's not like an expensive single entity. At the end of the day, they are kind of on par with other Cav. Because like Buna just doesn't cook them. They have like what? Are they 7,000 something HP? It's like trying to Buna Fiends. And they have their Lady's Blessing. Not quite as bad as Bunaing Fiends though. Bunaing Fiends is the worst. Just the absolute worst. A lot of people like to go armored dudes. What if I go bloodletters versus vampire counts? I will say their infantry clear speed is hype, and they are relatively fast. Obviously, Wrathmongers can do really well too. I will need something to kill Crypt Horrors, however. I need a little something for that. All right. Let's do it. I found my opponent. Unfortunately, I've lost my build. It happens. I just gotta remake it. I should have saved the build before moving lobbies, but whatever. I think he's probably gonna be taking his time making his build. Speedrunning time. Yeah, there we go. And then I wanted one of these Skull Crushers and Blood Crushers. Going for the Khorne Cavalry feels so wrong. We've been without good cavalry for Khorne for ages. And like they're supposed to be the melee, the mega melee sweaty factions. It's just a shame that they can't win that melee fight. You know, slow but super strong, right? So you have Slanesh, who's good at melee but fast. You have Khorne, who's better at melee but a bit slower, and then you have Nurgle, who's even better at melee but even slower. I feel like that's the happy middle ground that should be done. Yo, Heralds of Khorne's Fury should be anti-large, to be opposite from Blood Crushers. In the same way Knights of the Brazen Throne are opposite to Skull Crushers. Wait, is he Vampire Coast? Wait, yo. Is he Coast? Did I code the bot wrong? I think it's fine. I can probably still just play it out anyways. We've been dilly-dallying for too long regardless. This is less favorite for me though, but we'll be okay. All right. Wrathmongers usually Omega Cook Vampire Coast in your experience. I guess there's not a whole lot that can shoot them to death. This thing happened to you on Monday. Might want to check the bot because you're pretty sure you click Coast. Okay, let's take a look. I did. I screwed it up. I did screw it up. You're right. Holy smokes. Whoopsie daisies. I guess the real person screwing up was me. Thank you. Yeah, it's a bot error. Whoopsie daisies. That's embarrassing. Good catch. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, I even screwed up while checking it. I checked to make sure that it was right, and I saw vampire coast, I saw vampire counts, and I'm like, all right, it's good. But no, it was actually it was inverted. Well, how embarrassing. Ready? Good luck, have fun. All right, let's do this. Moringles. Moringles aren't too bad. I have a lot of mobility to jump them. I think the skull crushers could actually be really hype. He's gone the main tide coast, but my infantry's fairly good at trading into them. Coast is pretty good at the grind though. Their deckhands will uptrade most of my guys, but just having a wall of marauders is not too bad. I'm more worried about depth guard actually, but at the very least capturing points should be fairly simple. We got a marauder horseman. Actually disperse them just a smidge. There we go, and then I should be okay. Very nice. Blood Crushers benefit so much from well-placed charge bonus. Yeah, do they all have the buff? The glorious charge? No, that's just the other one. So I'm gonna see a couple dogs. Totally fine, totally fine. I don't have a vanguard here, so these corn gorers will have to be a little careful. I'm pretty sure the dogs can actually crump them if I'm not careful. And okay, we have a Necrofex Colossus. Kind of wild in today's day and age. Ouch. Broski. That's some big deeps. It's okay, we still have a Skull Taker. He can get some good work done. In fact, he's just gonna go in and bully Silostra because there's not much going on there. The Rogue Bloat has arrived though. And these guys are anti-infantry, so they do pummel dogs pretty bad. We can actually just leave them in there. They're perfect for dog killing. Very nice. Look at Skull Taker. He does not care about any of this. He just wants to get into that fight. It's also a good opportunity for some Wrathmongers, perhaps. Dogs will get a rout on one of my cav units, but just injuring them this hard is still a benefit. And as long as I can maintain 2 points, I'm pretty happy. The Skull Taker bullies the bombers. Can now go beeline for Silostra. My cavalry should come back. That's the most important part. As long as they come back and we rout off a couple dogs, I'm happy. Though that one, not nearly as good. Can Silostra live though? Can Silostra survive such glorious hatred? I don't think so. I think she's gonna get absolutely crumped. I will say that bloat does give me a few issues though. And here we go. Silostra beat down begins. Gotta be careful about the Moringles a little bit. Skull Taker's gotta escape-a-roo. And I think we will get the Bloodwake Berserker soon. We can counter the bloat with just a little bit of micro, not a big deal. His dogs survived though. It's a little unfortunate. That's a very good trade for him actually. Whoop. He's dodging, he's joking. He's joking with the bloats. Okay, will he go for the other point though? He's posturing for it, that's for sure. If I can kill that bloat, I'm good though. You can see those Moringles have taken a lot of damage too. Very nice to see. as the Skull Taker continues to live. The bloat does pop. Amazing. And now my opponent's in a tricksy position. What are you gonna do? I could get some very elite cavalry, but that might be a bad idea. Because of the Necrofex Colossus. Can it deal with everything, though? I don't know. I really want to get some really elite boys. What has he got, even? And we'll see. Whoops, lost another cav. Very unfortunate, once again. See if I can bully Silostra. Gotta be real careful. Skull Taker's getting a little bullied, actually. You can keep fighting the Moringulls, though. That's not too bad. I just have to be careful about all these bombers. They can definitely work me. You know, I think we do get the Wrathmongers in here. For the bombers, I'm gonna bring in the steel chair. We're bringing in the big boys, seeing how they do. Wrathmonger should be pretty good versus Depth Guard, at least. But yeah, in general, this fight is going interestingly. Okay, here we go. We got our very big heavy hitters, though. Skull Taker should be able to win against the Moringulls, no problem. Gonna see maybe a play for this point. I can definitely deal with that. Here comes a big push. But Silostra is extremely out of position. I can squeeze in onto these bombers. That would be so perfect. Or even just get the Wrathmongers in there. As long as Skull Taker keeps healing by staying in combat, I'm very happy. And we still have a double cap. Whoop, gotta be real careful about those bombers, though. Okay, Wrathmongers versus Depth Guard, but the Depth Guard get the charge. Who does it better? We will see. There's another bloat. Interesting. Very aggressively positioned bloat. I think we're still fine, though. That's a good charge on these guys. Can bring in my cav. Skull Taker is injured, but definitely not out of the picture. He'll be fine. I just have to keep... Yep, there you go. Dealing with the bloats. Thankfully, they suck versus these elite boys. Very nice. Let me just pull back over here, and I'm just gonna let the Blood Crushers cook. This is exactly the type of situation that they want to be in. They're happy. They're happy to be here. We'll just keep them happy. Let's get a charge on those Depth Guard too and start crumping them. And for me, I could get Knights of the Brazen Throne if I'm feeling really feisty. I don't think that's a great idea, though. I don't think that's a great idea. How the Depth Guard doing? They're getting a little battered, a little bruised. Nothing too crazy, though. I think we can shut down the bombers, at least. Silostra's probably gonna get a big summon soon. Alright, here we go. Big cavalry day. Today is all about the big cav. Let's take a look at those dogs. How they doing? Nothing too crazy. Right side is going well for me. Value trading, not bad. Not amazing. I'm gonna actually debuff these Moringulls. They really don't like getting DPS blitzed. And we're just gonna let that do its thing. As Skull Taker continues to hopefully live. And as my... Is that a... Oh, that's not a pistol mob. That's an actual gun mob. Okay. Well, let's back up from that. For sure. Still, though, I'm feeling pretty good. We're all over this middle area. Oh, boy. Maybe I summoned my elite cavalry a little too soon. They're getting a little bullied. There are a lot of gun bats here, too. Nothing a few horsemen can't manage, though. Interesting, we got some Moringulls. Oh, wait, no, there's a... No, these are the pistol mobs. My bad. Yeah, it's the handgun ones that I have to be a little bit more careful of. Overall, though, I'm happy. Especially with Silostra taking so much deeps. I got a big Sword of Corn coming in, too. That'll delete a good few bombers. If I kill Silostra at this point in the game, He might not actually have the time to bring her back, you know? I think that's the most important part. Just make sure that he can't re-summon all of his stuff. Because if she does come back, it's going to be an absolute menace. But Silastra resummons only work if you have that lead in terms of the tickets. That's a pretty big hit. Has she used her Cav summon yet? I swear I haven't seen it. Maybe she's getting knocked down too often. Skulltaker is pretty good at that. You can see those charges are massacring the poor lady. I did lose my Skull Crushers though. But I think we've been getting value almost everywhere else, so it's fine. She did. She got the summon off though, but it's not going to be very impactful. I think she was getting chain knocked down. There's no reason to have summoned so late other than that. And yeah, while the build was certainly very fun, I think this was just a little bit too much memery. The bloats were just a little awkward at the end of the day. Hey, the knights came back. But yeah, as long as I maintain this, these captures, we're good. That does like, I did a little bit of damage, I guess. I guess it did a little bit of damage. Was it that worth it though? Probably not. So Skulltaker proving again why he's so annoying. The guy's actually just unkillable, bro. Ooh, look at that mini charge. That was a little bit of damage. Also, by the way, we get swords of corn, blades of corn very often against undead. Corn's just pretty good here. Very nice. Now, how did my dudes do? I don't know if my cavalry were actually good at all. I think just taking a lot of infantry was just solid. This guy should have the cloak going. Yep. 20% extra missile resist. Insane. That's gonna keep him around. And indeed, Silastra was resummoned, but what's she gonna do? She's too expensive for this, yeah? I think we're good. Corn's doing great, man. Corn's crushing it. Honestly, still pretty solid faction. They're not nearly as good with the changes to Ooh. Come on, I just need to clip the bloated corpse. These guys gonna rout anyways. Just give it to him. That did a decent amount of damage, but the unit was more or less dead anyways. It's interesting. The bloats at 275, you do actually have to respect them. You can't just YOLO an infantry in and expect it to be fine. But they still get countered a little too hard. Now, I think if you start going cheaper, suddenly Vampire Coast is just spamming bloats everywhere, and that's not good. But, yeah, I'd say as of right now, they're not exactly blowing my mind. There's the next Cav summon, by the way. But Silastra's in a rush. She needs to get the points back. And resummoning her means there just are not going to be as many zombies. Necrofix Colossus was fun, but not the strongest unit at the end of the day. Skulltaker's just... You see what I mean by he's just indestructible? Because he's constantly healing. He resists 40% of missile damage unless it's magical. And he has over 100 armor even when tired. The guy just fights forever, which is kind of perfect. That's exactly what you would want to see on a purely melee character that costs so much. But yeah, there's a reason why for a time people really hated this guy. What's duration on these guys? They're already starting to crumble. 30 more seconds and we'll be good. I think we got it, man. I think he did. We can get another blood crusher. Check their value. 1,044. You know what? As far as cavalry is concerned, that's not too bad. Let's see if I can give him this bloat hit. Actually, I really wonder if the bloated corpse is yeah, I wonder if it's worth going for. Sort of corn, by the way. Ba-boom. Oh man, that's a lot of value. Such a huge sword of corn. Yeah, so if I just turn these guys to the side, how much value do you think this bloat's gonna get? He's at 341. Right? But like if I just position like this, is the bloat even gonna get the value? It's like it's okay. He was also looking at it. It's okay. At 275, it does not feel... It doesn't feel as bad. It's not amazing. But the fact that you can counter a bloat by just turning your infantry to the side is a little sad. At least he probably got his values worth. Oh, he was the same bloat the entire time. He got summoned thrice. That's pretty bad. Give bloat 75 speed. They should be a bit faster. They should get a speed boost when they're close to infantry. Deckhands uptrade into Chaos Warriors of Khorne. With bomber support, they can. Deckhands are just really good at fighting. Sword of Khorne is basically a bloat on demand. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, the poor guys. Death Guard didn't do well either, but they were facing Wrathmongers. Wrathmongers are insane. These guys, I kind of just let them die. Necrofex technically got a lot of value. It's that everything else was suffering because of it. The Mourngulls, Silostra, everything was just dying because there was so much money on one unit. That's how it be. GG, well played. And now we're up against Berserker. Oh boy. Berserker! Yo yo! We got some real scary players coming in now. We got some real nasties. All that. Khorne doesn't use magic. Yeah, there's a lot of magic. I think Khorne doesn't like magic, but I think it's... You know, even though it's an aspect of Khorne, he can still dislike it. And he doesn't cast spells. There's a difference between being a magical being and like casting spells. It's like hating books, but being okay with talking. Right? Khorne is very much in the... You know, he's not a writer, but he'll still speak to you. In the same vein, he won't cast spells, but he'll throw his sword down onto the battlefield. Altar of the Champion, okay. Here we go. We got a pretty good win streak going. But can we beat Berserker? Can it be done? I will say though, the swords being on fire, do you really think the bloodletters just dip their swords in oil every few seconds? Like that's clearly magic, right? It's clearly magic. Demons are magic, man. I don't know what to say. Is there any reason to ever take Skull Reapers? Skull Reapers? These are Skull Reapers. Sorry, there's too many units with Skull in the name. No, they're pretty bad. They just down trade and they don't do any job better than other units. If you want to clear infantry with low armor, Forsaken are just better than Skull Reapers. On many levels. Not only are they faster, they're cheaper. And because they're cheaper, it means that, you know, these benefits that the Skull Reapers have don't actually apply. Also, the armor makes some about as tanky, but if you look at Skull Reapers, like, you know, entity count is lower. They don't really do that much damage, that much more damage. I guess they do have better melee defense, but you don't really feel that very often with Forsaken. These guys honestly feel like they don't have that much melee defense in general, too. I don't know why. I think it's the low entity count that really just mucks them up. Demons of Chaos, Chaos Dwarves, and High Elves. I'll go versus High Elves. This is a good time to see if the Sisters of Avalorn strat works. I honestly, I don't know. So in previous times, without the balance mod, High Elves would be pretty bad versus Khorne. They have Oceanids and the like, which are very good. But Khorne is an absolute menace of a faction. They have so much armor everywhere. You find yourself just not being able to kill them fast enough. Now, Oceanids are really good against Khorne. The Marauder Horsemen are kind of garbage against them. But what if I use Skull Crushers? What if I use Blood Crushers? They got that. They got the magic attacks. I think I would bet Skull Crushers are still better. I almost want to just bring Minotaurs instead of Blood Crushers. I feel like Minotaurs are so much better. Is it just me? I gotta try them though. I have to try at least one Blood Crusher in reserve in case we see like super elite infantry or something. Or I don't know, maybe they're just good. Maybe the magic attacks are just good. That it takes a lot of hope. It takes a lot of hope to believe that Blood Crushers are gonna help me win here. But High Elves might not have the best solutions for them. They're also really high armor. 100 armor. So basic archer shouldn't do much without like a Plague of Rust or something. This is a Crushers day, no half measures. Yeah, I have to run Crushers. If we lose, it's fine. And this is interesting because usually Khorne would run Flesh Hounds, but they're bad versus High Elves. The High Elf Cavalry is too strong against them. So actually having some armored cav could be the tipping point, unless we see Sisters of Avalorn. I think Sisters of Avalorn would be an interesting predicament to deal with. How do I feel about this? This build seems silly. I'm not gonna lie, this build seems extremely silly. But trust the process, I guess. Trust the process. Bloodletters are demons though, so that's a loophole. Does Khorne like demons? If demons are magic, I feel like they'd probably fine with demons. So I guess like flaming swords is just part of their biology. I guess I can kind of accept that. It's part of them, right? Pleased to catch alive. Happy to have you here. You're already getting a lot of replays. We're already getting a lot of replays, so pretty excited about the raffle. Got some from Nambark. We got some from Pope Batty. If you want to get your DLC raffle in, you probably don't have time to fit in 2 games before the end of the tournament. But we will be hosting again tomorrow. Blood Crusher should wear armor to be like Skull Taker. And their anti-large counterpart. That'd be cool. I feel like 100 armor for Blood Crushers is a little low. I feel like it could be a teensy tooch higher. But it's fine. Here's the build. So the scariest thing I need to worry about is Oceanids. Oceanids. They're a pain. They're a right pain. They uptrade into almost everything I have. Unless my magic damage Blood Crushers can cycle charge him to death. I do have Bloody Onslaught that can reduce the melee defense. But I think we're kind of just accepting that Oceanids might annihilate us. I don't have a great counter to them. But maybe I don't need a great counter to them. Berserk has a pretty thin army though. At 10 units, that's 900 gold average per unit. So I would expect some Oceanids. We see some Skirms instead. Couple Oceanids over here. A prince, just a prince. Star Dragon, bro. And some ship's company. Lore Master of Hoeth with the book. Blessed Tome. So no Sisters of Avalorn. Blessed Tome stops units from dying. Only affects all allies in range. Hit points greater than 50%. You can't die. So in a nasty big old blob, that could be really annoying. I don't look forward to that. Skulltaker is pretty good at fighting, bro. I can't believe the prince missed on the charge. Gets a hit in. Skulltaker's a menace, though. This is not a very range-heavy build, so my cavalry should do pretty well. I'll actually get another Blood Crusher. We'll see how this goes. Oh my gosh, our prince, though. Dude, prince is getting crumped. We're gonna get our second unit of sick cavalry here. Then we're gonna see if we can bully the Oceanids. Look at that. Big deeps. Insane. Actually, not too bad. We are going to have a bit of a fight here, but so far so good. Oceanids are actually taking pretty decent damage all around. We got our boys here. We're gonna beat up that Lore Master a little bit. Just have to make sure my boy doesn't die. Where's he gonna breath attack, though? I guess we'll see. It's gonna be over here. Where you planning it, son? I know you want that breath attack. You just have to be real careful. Interesting. We got a little bit of loop-de-looping around here. Where you going, though? You can't fight the Skulltaker. That would be insane. Ah, there's the breath attack. And it's gonna whiff, mostly. Very nice. We did get a capture point on the far side. Very nice. The Skulltaker is being a menace. I have a fairly large amount of capture weight, too. And Oceanid entities can now die, which is very bad for my opponent. Skulltaker provides a pretty solid buff, by the way. Melee attack buff will help my units punch through the super high melee defense of all these Oceanids. Let's charge in over here. I don't really have the best of flanks going right now. Okay, and he is going to try and get in there. But is it enough? Does he kill Skulltaker with the Prince? Prince is hype. But is he hype enough? I don't think so. I think Prince gets absolutely crumped by Skulltaker again. And will be forced to retreat, maybe. I also have my Korngors over here. Skulltaker, he's just living. He's living his best life. Guy has immune to flanking now, I think. No, not enough kills. Okay, gotta be a little careful then. What are those? Silver helms, not a big deal. Over yonder. He's slowly wearing down those guys. Okay, how does my Cav do versus the silver helms, though? How's the Skulltaker doing overall? He's doing okay. Silver helms don't have the armor piercing to kill these guys. There's Plague of Rust, though. So the guy does have Plague of Rust. His lord is all in on Skulltaker, too. However, I do have the capture points. We do have some very armored cavalry on our hands, too. And his lord is taking damage. He drops a heal, but that's not too problematic. Looks like these warriors are actually holding surprisingly well. How's Skulltaker doing? He has to be a little careful to make sure he doesn't get hit. But if he cycle charges, I think he'll do well. There we go. Big cycle charge. If we get that debuff too, he's super dead. Okay, yeah, there's the Plague of Rust. So we're gonna run. How's the Lord doing, though? Does he beat Skulltaker? It's kind of a close fight. He's doing his best. Run, Skulltaker. Drag him through the mud. Drag him through the mud. Make sure he doesn't get too many attacks off. It's a little sketchy. Now he's on the run. I think he's going to take off into the skies. And that's going to be a little bad for me. I don't think it's the end of the world. Skull Taker will probably be able to survive. But it's a little sus. Now I have 2 capture points. Opponent's kind of just bogged down in this middle point over here. He did kill off my Cav, which I really don't like. And that's going to be a massive value loss for me. But how long can we stall is the real question. He's dropping heals like it's hot. Skull Taker. He regens. As long as he's fighting here. I think he's taking more damage from the Oceanids than he's healing though. Gotta be really careful. All it takes is 1 bad charge and he's dead. He's gonna breath attack me. Dodging it. We burn the breath attack. Okay, nice. And then I should be able to chop up those Oceanids. Not the worst. Okay, sick. I just have to make sure Skull Taker keeps on living. Now he's probably going to be able to secure this point. But maybe I can get this one at the same time. That's not too bad. Skull Taker, live, good sir. Just live. He gets hit once more. I think he's dead, though. He gets hit once more. Maybe. Oh, and he dies. No. Dang, after doing so well against the prince early on. Gets crumped. That's going to be really bad for my infantry leadership. I basically have to resummon him. And I think that might do it. Should have gone for the Wrathmongers, man. I feel like if I had some Wrathmongers, we could have won this. But yeah, this is pretty done for now, right? No way I'm getting the tickets back. GG, well played. He also played well against my Cavalry. GG, well played. Let's take a look. I did overextend with them. They were meant to be more defensive. Overall value, atrocious. Absolutely atrocious, man. I have not had a single game where I do well with these guys. Dude, they're so bad. They're so bad. I was cycle charging the Oceanids the whole game with them. I guess they're not Oceanid killers, but it was fun to give it a whirl. If we wanted to win that one decisively, though, I think Wrathmongers might be able to kill Oceanids, and then we just win from there. He went very hard on the melee grind. Lost Temple of Sotek, okay. Now, if I win this one, we're still very much so in the running for top 4. But I think I have to win this one if I want to make it. Let's take a look-see. Live leaderboard. I'm currently still 4th. If I lose it, though, we drop below the requirements. Wrathmongers do fire attacks. ROR. Okay, normal Wrathmongers then. What if I just take normal Wrathmongers? Do they do well? What Tobohonker's playing? They're also okay, also High Elves, yes. Okay, I must learn from my mistakes. So I basically need an Oceanid counter. Guy didn't even go Sisters of Avalorn. I can't believe it. Didn't even go for it. That's okay though. I have a strat. This should be not bad. I still need an answer to Oceanids though. Minotaur great weapons are okay. That's true. I gotta stand by the question that's being posed by the video, don't I? Can we win with Blood Crushers? I can win without Blood Crushers, but can I win with Blood Crushers? I think we have to prove to ourselves that they can get the job done. Hey, Slaughter Guard, give flammable, minus 20% fire. Or 20% fire weakness. That's okay, right? Is there anything else here? Why do all my units have to be on fire? I found the Chaos Warriors pretty fun. The Korngors were okay. They did not actually chop up the Oceanids very effectively. The melee attack's actually garbage, so maybe I pass on the Korngors and go for something a little better. I could just run some Wrathmongers. I don't know if the Regiment of Renown is better or worse versus Oceanids, because they'll still kill infantry super well, which is important. But probably normal Wrathmongers if we do see a big blob like that. Probably one of these. And the big thing is, yeah, just make sure you don't get bullied by the Dragon Lord. Or other single entities. I think if we do that, we'll be okay. Armor maxing the High Elves. Can we get her done? I could also get Chosen of Khorne if I'm feeling really spicy. Do I want Flesh Hounds? I feel like if I just use my Cavalry right, we'll be okay. Skull Crushers. Do I get the Skull Crushers? Armor maxing the High Elves. I think if we just armor max the High Elves properly with Wrathmongers this time, it's probably good enough. Don't want a Shrine of Khorne, get the War Shrine going. Don't want Cultists of Khorne. They're interesting. Scarblood Wrath. None of these guys are especially exciting. Sure. Sure, let's just try this. Get her done. Hobo Honkers is a tough opponent, but with this many signups, you gotta perform well if you want to make it. All right, let's do this. So we're armor maxing. I'm gonna defend these guys with the Blood Crushers again. Get rid of the thumbnail before people start flipping. Very similar idea to before. I think we just have to play it a little tighter. Ready, good luck, have fun. The Oceanids are problematic, yes. But I also have a Hellforged Bellows this time. We have Wrathmongers to win a melee fight. We can go very melee heavy if we want to. If it's Sisters of Avalorn spam, I do have a lot of shields. And it's the same build, basically, but no dragon. Except for dragon princes. They're not a big problem, though. These guys don't have fire attacks. They're magic attacks. So they actually punch through the physical resist of dragon princes. They might even beat dragon princes. Maybe. Maybe. But definitely, this is a game where we want to get Wrathmongers and maybe a Hellforged Bellows. There's not a lot to counter a Hellforged Bellows. It obviously can't kill the Oceanids, but if everyone around them is dead, that is still a victory in my book. And I think that's what we're gonna do. Park right over here. I'd say the map is a little better for me. High Elves tend to be a lot more mobile than Khorne, so we don't want to get pulled apart. And it's only 2 Oceanids, but I imagine another one's going to be summoned soon. And the real question, does my Cavalry make a difference? I sure hope they do, because my tournament life depends on it. Very excited for the Bellows, though. I think the Bellows, a basically completely defended Bellows, assuming the Dragon Princes don't crump these guys, should be quite terrifying. The thing is, I have no idea if these guys beat Dragon Princes. They are cheaper than Dragon Princes now, so if they win, that's great. It's a Flame Spire Phoenix. So he's stacking fire resist. I have no fire damage in my army except for the Forsaken, so I'll just summon the Forsaken last. There's a ship's company, makes a lot of sense. Korngors are not that good into Oceanids, because a bonus versus large actually doesn't do enough there. Gonna take pot shot number 1. I'm gonna get a little bit of deeps. Pretty solid. Now, what's he planning with the Flamespire Phoenix? Is he gonna come in here? Does he want to fight? He's gonna drop. He's gonna make some droppings. That's okay. Fine by me, honestly. It barely does any damage. He has fire resist. I have armor. We're both spamming as much protection on our dudes as we possibly can. Gonna threaten him a little bit. Make life just a little bit scary so he can't just charge in with the Phoenix. You can see this thing does still do a good amount of damage, despite being fire damage. Can poke the Oceanids a little bit. Gonna take another pot shot at these guys. And then he's gonna do some bombing runs, but if I keep moving, that just makes life hard for him. If I keep bullying the ship's company, that's honestly a plus for me. Very passive play so far from my opponent. There's another Oceanid summon. But that won't really be enough. How do my boys do here, though? He's gonna send in the Phoenix. It's not a big deal, though. Already pretty good damage on the Oceanids. And a charge on the bird. It's a good opportunity to maybe get some big deeps on it if we're lucky. We got Skull Taker on its tail. We can use the cannon that was... that it was meant to kill to body block now. Making it very hard for the bird to escape. And thus drawing my opponent in to try and save it. Then we'll just back off with these guys. We just have super melee attack boosted blood crushers. Fine by me. Oceanids kinda bloodied. And with his Dragon Princes extended a little further now, maybe I can get a sick cannon shot on them. The fire resist will help out a lot, but damage is damage. Pretty solid hit, not a lot of damage. Never mind, damage is not damage. When it is too low, it turns out. But I think we're still doing fine. I got my Wrathmongers over here. He still doesn't have too much that can actually deal with Skull Taker. Whoop. A little bit of dodging. Skull Taker can definitely fight these guys now. And the bird lands again. I don't know if that's going to help him very much, though. Skull Taker is an absolute menace. Fairly okay shot over there. And now he's going to make a play for this point. We just pull away. Brace for impact against the cavalry there. And then we just got to pull away with them. Make sure they don't die. And maybe if I'm lucky, I can catch some cav. He doesn't have too much support here. On this side. Which I think is going to help us out. Skull Taker ain't going to die. He's just indestructible. He's effectively indestructible. And we're still getting some really nice hits here with our cannon. It's just plowing into this little blob. Got lots of armor cooking. We're gonna see how the Wrathmongers do against the Oceanids. I'm not super confident in their ability to do it, but they are Wrathmongers. Wrathmongers are just good. I believe they should be all right. Also, we do fire damage with the cannon. That's going to prevent a little bit of healing. Let's just see if we can get a shot in. There we go. Beautiful shot. Let's keep cycling. Wrathmongers against them. Not bad, actually. Yeah, they don't do fire damage. Perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. Very nice. And the cannon is still alive. This is going much better than last game, mostly because there's no dragon. The dragon is what made life super annoying previously. Without it, Skull Taker can have a field day. He's just chilling. Grinding away. Not a care in the world. Forsaken will counter all this infantry too. Let's start regenning some ammo over here. Storm Riders versus my anti-infantry cavalry. We'll actually see how that goes. If the Skull Crushers win that, that'd be sick. Yo, I love how I can just leave Skull Taker in here, though. He's such a menace. Guy actually just doesn't die. He has way too much armor right now. Ah, but we have some Dragon Princes coming in. Pot shot on them just to slow them down. We're gonna do decent damage charging into the backs of my men here. But if we brace, that should mitigate most of it. Love the addition of the Wrathmongers. I think the Wrathmongers might be able to win it for us. And we still have a double cap. That's gonna make my opponent sweat a little bit. And hopefully make them make bad plays. Storm Riders, unfortunately. These guys are... they're gonna pay for themselves at least. I guess at least they're gonna pay for themselves. I don't know how much praise that is, but what can you do? What's happening over here? No idea. Ooh, this is gonna be a nasty hit though. Right down the pipe. Ooh, man, that might have just ended the game. Dude, Skull Cannon flanks are the best. Mega deeps over there. Dragon Prince is dying too to the Blood Crushers. I think the Armor Tide with Wrathmonger support is gonna do it. I don't know if we would have won against a dragon though, at the end of the day. At the end of the day, a dragon is still quite the menace. But this victory shall be mine. Those are the Blades of Hoeth I just noticed. That's kind of terrifying. We beat them with capture weight. So don't actually let them get into the fight. Just stall them forever and you'll be okay. Skull Taker being an absolute menace as usual. Gonna see if we can block these Dragon Princes. No, they're gonna get through. That's a little rough. Gonna pull into them maybe. And battle's not over just yet. And these Oceanids are still alive. Now, I do have a shot with my cannon. In the middle here. Skull Taker, he lives. The guy does live. He's going to be able to continue the grind. And I think I want to hunker down here and then use this thing to shoot at the Blades of Hoeth. Just get him out of there, you know? How's Skull Taker doing? He's still alive. He's slowly getting worked on by the Phoenix, but that's not a big deal. And if I kill a Lariel, we just win. I think that's the goal. Because these Dragon Princes are going to be a menace. Unless we can keep them in combat. Let's take a look at the situation. It's not too bad, actually. Cannon has another shot to bully his stuff. And look at the Lariel. She's getting pretty messed up, actually. Skull Taker is a melee DPS god, basically. And there she goes. Alariel down for the count. Skull Taker gets her to rout. Unfortunately for me, we do not have the ability to chase her. I can make him unkillable at least, to keep him around for a little bit longer. But he is definitely gonna die. And we may have a very similar situation to last time. Now the Blades of Hoeth we can bully. Skull Taker still alive. He does finally die though. And Alariel is here to stay. This is going better than last time, but not a clear victory, right? This blob is still very good. I am up trading unlike last time. The -16 has arrived though. Blood Crushers are great. Blood Crushers are okay. Skull Crushers, man. Alright, here we go. I gotta post up now. Gotta post up and get ready for the fight. This point has been captured. He's dropping a heal. I'm gonna cancel it with a little bit of fire damage. I can resummon the Skull Taker too. Don't forget, we can get him back. These guys are okay. They can distract over there. Here's the thing. It's a 5-minute run. I have to hold here for 5 minutes. That's a really long amount of time. Bird is coming in. We got the D-summon though. And you know what? I can fight the bird just to regain skulls. I don't know where the skulls are coming from, but technically that works. Cannon's just gonna, yeah, just gonna work the bird a bit. It's gonna give me a few free shots here on this infantry. Dragon princes, though, much different issue. They are a menace. Now, I will be able to resummon the Skull Taker. I'm also threatening this point. Whoop! Those are dragon princes. Run for your life, artillery piece. Run! Skedaddle! Hey, we got another ammunition. That's good. Very nice. And just like that, the Skull Taker, he returns. Thus, saving my leadership for a little bit longer. Very nice. Alright, there you go. A little bit of damage over there is always very good. And what are these dragon princes gonna do? We've walled up over here, making it a little bit more difficult to just charge in. We're braced. That's pretty solid, right? Skull Taker is going to be a menace too, and I have a unit that needs dealing with, so he can't bring all of his Oceanids to bear. If I can get perfect shots with this artillery piece, maybe we have a chance. You can see he's a little worried. He's pulling the dragon princes back. Let's see if we can get it. Oh, big shot. Okay, nice. Pretty solid volley. And we got the dragon princes a little distracted. I'll take it. Got a few more dragon princes over here, but that's okay. Skull Taker's kind of crushing it. I can also debuff these ones, slowly get them killed. Let's see if we can distract these dragon princes a little bit. And my next unit is... I'm gonna have to go for the Wrath. You know what? Let's try it. We live or die by this unit, okay? We're sending them in. We'll see if it's enough. Look at these Oceanids. Thank goodness they're distracted. Wait, can I kill Alarielle? She's a little exposed, actually. Oh, Skull Taker with the steel chair. Gets a mini hit. She's still alive, though. I'm gonna have to play keep away from these dragon princes. But Alarielle at least can't keep giving her leadership bonuses. The bird's dropping it like it's hot. Okay, let's do a little bit of a cycle swap going on over here. A very sketchy position for sure. Skull Taker's in the grind though, and I can counter charge with my blood crushers. I just need to keep on up trading. Question is, will he misplay Alarielle? If she dies, he's so screwed. This ain't too great for me though. The ship's company are all over the place. The bird is still alive, terror routing all my fools. I do have Blood Crusher in here. Or Skull Taker. Blood Crusher. I have Skull Taker in here and we got some Blood Crushers. The grind is going okay, and I will have my units rallying. He still hasn't brought in these Oceanids, which I feel like he really should have. And we do have that glorious, glorious capture weight. Honestly, they're holding surprisingly well. 36 melee defense, I guess, is just enough. Just barely enough to stick around. And there's the melee attack boost, helping them out too. Bringing them up to 78 melee attack, kind of insane. A lot of cavalry just arrived, though. The question is, will we win the grind? Dragon Princes are probably gonna die. Alarielle is on the point, providing capture weight. Can I stall it, though? Only a few more seconds is all I need. I don't think we'll be able to stall it fast enough, but I might just win the value trade. It's gonna be very spicy. Skull Taker doing his bestest. It is a lot of armor. We got one Dragon Prince routed. Is it enough though? He got the point. He got the point. We distracted these Oceanids. Come on, Skull Taker, fight. There's so many Reavers. Dude, me not being able to chase down Alarielle might have done it. But I'm still gonna keep up the grind. If I can start up trading here for even a little bit, we're good. Alarielle's being a menace though. Constant keep away. The big surround. The big surround. It's so brutal. Gonna get one more infantry here. We're gonna see what we can get done. Skull Taker's doing his best. If he doesn't notice Alarielle, we're good. You can keep bullying the Reavers for sure. They are the main source of capture weight. Just a couple Dragon Princes, not a big deal. I'll have more dudes. I only need the point for a little bit. I just have no mobility though. Oh man, dude, the Reaver Tide, the late game Reaver Tide is gonna be too much. Look at the Alariel just chilling. No. Yeah, I don't know if my cavalry was good enough for the situation. It's okay, it's fine. But is it enough? Probably not. Well played. Yeah, he has too many tickets. Well, I might as well let it time out. GG. Brutal. GG, well played. And let's see if top 4 is done. I don't know if I make it to top 4 with 3 wins, 2 losses. Oceanids end up being a mega pain in the butt for Corn. This unit did get its value though. 2 summons, 2,700. This Blood Crusher was okay. I feel like Wrathmonger spam would have just been better at the end of the day, but it was kind of nice having armored cavalry. Skull Taker was amazing. Cannon did great. It was just a little bit too much up trading. These Oceanids got too much value along with these Dragon Princes. But a fun match. A fun match regardless. Ooh, I think I'm in 5th place. Brutal. I need Bird to lose versus the Meaty Dangler. Oh no. Does my top 4 position count entirely on the Dangler? Honestly, I don't think I'm beating these High Elves as Corn. Swordmaster Valley? Oh crap, my bad. I can check it real quick. I don't think the Swordmasters did great though. They probably did okay, but not crazy. One unit with anti-large and you would have won. I don't think Corngors beat Oceanids. It's not like you just take anti-large and you're good. Though, Corngor spam in the late game would have killed most of his Reaver Cav. So there is that to note. I didn't have a good Vanguard unit to flood the point at the very, very end there. I had to summon in these guys. If I did, I would have won. But probably not for the reasons you're talking about. I'm very interested to see these finals though. I really want to know if these people are going to go for the new buffed units or if they're going to play basically the same. Warriors with halberds or cornetars. I think minotaurs would have been pretty good. There was a lot of large there. I'd still have to make sure I don't, you know, have him get routed by the Phoenix. Like this was definitely really good. Having Skull Taker just grind. He did overextend a little bit though, and that ended up killing him. I was a little too haphazard with the guy. See the Blood Crushers doing okay. You know, they're grinding. Let's take a look at these Swordmasters though. So the Blades of Hoeth, I send them straight into these Forsaken. And they just got like 600, 700 value right off the bat. Cleared like an 800 gold unit. That was a big misplay. I think losing that Forsaken and not kiting the Blade Masters away totally lost me the game because they ended up getting a ton of value. Yeah, it's like 1,000 gold that I could have prevented.
No.
Not an insane value though, only 1,200.
Woeful tidings. The enemy has captured.
That is an acceptable amount. But yeah, what I really needed for this late game was halberd spam. The late game Reavers was such a menace. You can see he's just dumping all his money in. Held the line pretty decently here. Skull Taker resummon, I think was required. The fight ended up going long enough where it's definitely worth it. Dude, the Phoenix full healing though was was really bad for me. And then, yeah, actually impossible to catch a Lariel unless he misplays. I went for a Lariel because that was my only out, but it means all my opponent has to do is just keep her safe, which he did. And then we have a big mosh fight here, but there's just too much stuff. My units are basically perpetually full surrounded. Super close though, we were 12 seconds. Not bad. GG. Blood Crushers with a couple cycle charges would have dunked the Sword Masters. Oh, that's true. Yeah, they could have fought them. I think they were busy up on the other point though. They did a comparative to the Dragon Princess. The Dragon Princess did more in the end, but I think they were resummoned. They're definitely getting there. I think the unit is close to being better, but far from actually being meta, unfortunately. But all right, top 4. Let's do it. Seems like Bird has made it. Hobo Honkers has won their match. We're in 5th place. It'll be fun to spectate though. Let's go to Bird. Spec slots, please. We'll go to their match and we will see how they do. I'm very interested to just see how people play the mod. So far, it seems like most people are kind of sticking to the normal stuff. We have seen an extreme uptick of bloats. But that's about it so far. The problem is you leave Blood Crushers in melee with spears. When did I do that? Also, they're supposed to be anti-infantry. Probably shouldn't leave them though. But most of the time they were busy fighting enemy cavalry on my half of the battle. Behind my infantry. I think they probably did better than the dogs. Probably better than the dogs. Dang, so close. That was the match that would have done it. We're gonna get some fun games. Bird is playing the counter picking, and Hobo Honkers is playing High Elves. How will they counter High Elves? The bloat meta is upon us. I think the bloats, the excitement for the bloats will eventually die down. And then maybe I can buff them up again, I don't know. The plan is after Creative Assembly puts out their new DLC, that's when I'm going to look at all the units and put in a few more balance changes. Yeah, we can't always win. It's good though. Learning. The Khorne versus High Elves matchup. I know if I'm worried about Khorne, I can totally just go High Elves and spam Oceanids. And it'll probably go well. I'm sure there's like some Khorne aficionados though that know how to win that matchup. But from what we saw, even Wrathmongers don't really uptrade the Oceanid super well. The unit's just insanely hard to kill. I'm surprised we don't see like a Sea Elemental or something. I feel, when does Sea Elemental be like super hype? Get my hand disappearing. Whoa. Maybe it's not needed and you just need the capture weight. Blood Crushers never got the updated collision shape change. Are you saying their charges are weaker than expected? Because they're like monstrous cav or something? I don't know, I haven't tested. Are you gonna play 40k Total War? Absolutely. That's really high on my list of things I am interested in. Now, I might still play fantasy at the same time. It really depends on how the community shakes up. Maybe we do both. Or maybe everyone kind of migrates over. It's hard to say. I don't think everyone's gonna migrate over, but... Okay, if the game is good, I think most people will migrate over. If the game is bad, you'll have a weird 50-50 split. Faction for 40k? Either the Guard. I love just a million dudes with guns. Or Tau. Yeah. Yeah, I like shooty. But I imagine I would like the dark elves, whatever they're called. Are they just called Dark Eldar? I don't know, but whatever they're called. I heard they're pretty kitey. And I do like kiting. You know, high skill, make your opponent feel like they can't do anything. That is up my alley. So maybe some of that. A lot of dudes with flashlights. I think greenskins could be fun, but I don't know if they'll actually scratch the itch. Jukari, that's what they are? Okay, we got hobo honkers, they ready. What shall we see? I would love to see Sisters of Avalorn. At 950, they have to be good, right? I feel like they gotta be. Surely. For Chaos Dwarves, what did I buff? I buffed Bull Centaurs by a little bit. I don't know if Bull Centaur buffs for Chaos Dwarves. I don't know if that, like... I don't know if that changes them very much. Yo, for the next wave of buffs, what do you guys think I should do? Should we give foot characters some love? Just like all the foot lords. I don't know what a foot lord meta looks like though. Necrofex Colossus. I do think buffing big monsters would be interesting. They've also been out of the meta for a very long time. Rapons. Okay, yeah. Some lord shakeups. And because I think if every faction just used a different lord, the game would be a lot more interesting. You feel like the only faction actually buffed was Dowie? The only faction? Let me take a look. I feel like the Jet Lion could be impactful. Temple Guard are okay. Demi Knight's pretty bad. Honestly, dwarves are pretty underrepresented, so it's fine that they're a little stronger. Warp Grinders is a big buff. I think Warp Grinders could actually do a lot for Skaven. No Sisters of Avalorn, I can't believe it. He brought the same build. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Okay. Rot Knight buffs for Nurgle, maybe? Buff and debuff spells. I don't want to touch the spells just yet, because that can change the game a lot. We're gonna go with like lighter stuff while I learn how to actually balance the game, and then we go from there. But all right, blocker. Yeah, I got it. Took me a second, but we got it. Olariel, the Radiant. We got some Banishment, Earthblood, Tempest for the standard fare. Star of Avalorn. Tempest makes sense. Sometimes dwarves will have flyers, and an auto win is good. Tempest is very strong versus flyers. And it doesn't cost a lot, so you might as well bring it. We got a bunch of Oceanids. They chillin'. Very strong anti-infantry. Technically not armor piercing, but look at how high the damage is. They might as well be armor piercing. Super high melee defense. They got fire resistance, physical resist, missile resist. Just a solid unit all around. Just solid. As long as they're not getting shot at by normal arrows. For the dwarves, we have bolt throwers. A very unused unit. There's no bull centaurs either. You got some chaos dwarf warriors. Some cutthroats. Nothing too crazy though, right? It's pretty normal actually. I think the weirdest part about this build are the bolt throwers. Castellans do have fire attacks and no magic, so they can't poke the Oceanids to death. Chaos Dwarf's probably not super excited about that. And we're going to see a white line of Trace show up. Nothing crazy going on so far. This is actually a very similar build to the one against Khorne. Except it starts with the Oceanid. Chaos Dwarves are gonna have to find a way to shoot these guys to death. Most, if not all of their shooting, except for the bolt throwers, is fire damage. But you can see the bolt throwers got a little bit of teeth, you know? A little bit of hokey poke. We lost 7 Reavers over here. Just a bit of damage. Wolf Riders. No Bull Centaurs. Apparently the Bull Centaur buff was not enough to make them a unit worth running, apparently. You played Mass Shades, and at 900 gold, you can bring a bit more chaff in Cavalry, so you can kite pretty effective, even though you lost 3 games out of 5. I think that's good. The best case scenario is the buffs make the units situationally good. Enough to see them just a little bit more often. Because if you see them all the time, we're just completely changing the meta, which we don't always want to do. The nerfs had more impact than the buffs. It is true, although like people don't really sign up to these tournaments as Norska and Slanesh. Maybe it's more common you'll see Norska and Slanesh's counterpicked. But like I've never seen a swarm of like the most OP factions. If anything, at least it just makes people feel better about it, I think. But I also have not, you know, I haven't tracked what factions are being played the most. It's hard to say. I will say though, yes, Chimeras, you know, Chimeras on beastmen, Norska Chaos. You do see a lot of that. You know what? Yeah, I think the Chimeras, they end up being pretty popular. Especially for the people who are really tryharding. You won like 3 games, 1 draw, 1 loss. Hell yeah. I think I saw you put the replays in too. We'll be doing the raffle afterwards. I kind of want to stream it, but because there might be some drama with the raffles, because I need to check them to make sure people... Ooh, big final transportation. Though, he's going to be dodged. It's only a normal cast, however. So the dodge didn't actually do much, but the spell didn't do much anyways. But yeah, just in case someone like tries to cheese the raffle system, I need to like vet and make sure that they've actually sent in replays. But after all that's done, we good. By the way, value trading for Hoba Honkers is really bad. Is Bird the word? Does Bird have the solution to this? Because it looks atrocious for Bird. It actually looks really bad. Oh, the blunderbusses aren't fire damage. Interesting. So they do a lot of damage to Oceanids. But yeah, I kind of wonder what is going on. A lot of their money is in the magma cannon and bolt throwers. That's about 2,000 gold that they don't have in the front line. That definitely is going to play a part. We are seeing some backline dives too, and Bird doesn't have the money, so the cavalry could get in there and get some good value. Big shot. Freeze frame. Coming in hot. I don't think it's targeting these guys. It's gonna sail right over their heads and instead go for the white lines of trace. Pretty big hit too. It's about 1/8 of their HP, down to a quarter because of the fire. Jeez. Yeah, I guess standing in magma, not good for your health. 1/3 HP down with the one shot. But Bird has to stabilize the situation. If they lose all of their artillery pieces, the value is back in the favor for the High Elves. But they are playing on their side of the battlefield, which is a big benefit. I just noticed there is a giant sea elemental too. I don't know how that's gonna die. I guess maybe some blunderbusses. But in general, Chaos Dwarves are not great at stabilizing their backlines. They basically just have the Wolf Riders and the Sneaky Gits. And while they're okay, they don't really crush an army like this. So it's going to take some more time, but they do have a capture point, and that will be buying them quite a bit. Big heal on the Oceanids. I don't believe they're on fire, so they will get the full heal there. Value trading is only slowly getting back in the favor of the High Elves, so you got to remember the healing is actually playing a big part. So as time goes on, even if this number is the same, you can imagine the healing is closing the gap. And it definitely feels that way. Another big shot from the magma cannon. Gonna kill a few ship's company, but that's not gonna crush it. Searing Doom's gonna be okay, but oh, there we go. The Bull Centaurs on a discount have been summoned. Bull Centaurs are 100 gold less, and they are the great weapon variant. Immediate charge into the Oceanids. If this game is super close, maybe it was the 100 gold cheaper Bull Centaurs that did it. They did have 100 supplies in the bank, so they actually didn't show up faster because of that. But it does mean that if their supplies dips below 100, it means that the cheaper Bull Centaurs made a difference. If Bird is bad at spending their supplies and it stays above 100 perpetually, it means that the buff did not make a difference because of the slightly suboptimal macro. Or they're just waiting for the right counters to be brought out. So keep an eye. If there's ever dips below 100, that means that the cheaper Bull Centaurs did something. Look at them go. Already at 600 value. I wish I had these guys instead of Skull Crushers. Chad McCannon win. It's still alive too. It could potentially do a lot of damage. Both of our crew are dead, but they got 1,000 gold. And they jebaited the High Elves in. But the triple cap is done. High Elves got their point. And value-wise, they're only 600 down. I'd be really worried if I was the Chaos Dwarves being able to get the value back. Magma Cannon, though, gets a big hit on the Storm Riders. Not insane, though. It might even friendly fire these guys. No! Perfect timing. Disappears. The magma cools down very quickly in the Warhammer universe, it turns out. But are we going to see more Bull Centaurs? I think more Bull Centaurs would be perfect here. There's a lot of large units. If you ignore the Sea Elemental the whole game, you're good. Ops for the Kadai. Even with the Bull Centaur buff, they don't care. They've gone for Kadai. These guys do have fire damage, but they have magic attacks. So against Oceanids, it's actually an even trade because they get resisted, but they punch through the resistance. In fact, it's better. It's better to have magic attacks and fire damage because of the physical resist. How funny. Did you look at that? Yeah. So weird thought, but that's how it be. Unfortunately for the Chaos Dwarves, though, Hobgoblin Seeky gets a gone. It seems like normal, boring High Elf play might win it. Not a single Sister of Avalorn. And by boring, I mean they are bringing in a lot of elite units. To their own detriment. Yo, this Magma Cannon. What's its value, bro? 1,350. Huge. This unit might lose the High Elves the game, too. They gotta be real careful that they don't lose these capture points. When you bring in an elite unit like this, you lose a lot of agency. Well, has the supplies dipped below 100? I haven't seen it yet. Kadai slight down trade versus Oceanids? Really? I always thought they up traded. Dude. I can't believe he brought these guys in when there's a magma cannon on the field. They're down so much HP. Half their HP and they haven't even seen combat yet. Magma cannon's up to 1,700. This thing's not even that expensive. And he's just kiting them. The Kadai are just backing up. The thing is, though, he still needs to capture the point. It would be a grave misplay to not take this point. Time is of the essence, good sir. The Chaos Dwarves are going to need to summon something. Some Wolf Riders, maybe? You're going to need to do something, man. As he loses the capture weight on the middle. Keepers of the Flame, they are dead. It would have been better to summon anything else, but at the very least, they are stopping the Kadai from capturing. And now we're gonna see a summon, but that's a really slow summon. It's 180 tickets per minute that you spend being triple capped. So if it takes a minute for them to take this point, you've already lost the game. So you gotta really hope that this one gets taken. Oh, it dipped below. Minus 100 supplies. The Bull Centaurs did have an impact on the game. Maybe a little late into the battle. It's kind of hard to say. But they definitely had an impact. I think the High Elf push, though, is just going to be a little too effective. Let's take a look at the Blunderbusses. Blunderbusses are walking to the point. They don't care about killing the Sea Elemental. They just want the point to buy themselves roughly 50 seconds worth of time. But they're not posted up. Now they walk in, overshooting because of an attack command, maybe? That's going to be pretty rough. Because it means this thing's going to live just that little bit longer. Point gets captured, but we're looking at 25 seconds. Less even. 20 seconds. Oh, less even. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're looking at 15 seconds to take these points. And that's not going to be enough. He knows it. GG. Well played. And the High Elves score another victory. The Oceanids. Apparently the strongest unit in the game. Doing great. Sorcerer, Prophet of Metal. Not enough. Oh, they were gold chevron bolt throwers. So they were a lot more expensive. These cost almost 1,000 gold. That's actually really bad. They did not pay for themselves. You think the Keepers of the Flame would have some fire resist? Yeah. High Elves just don't have fire resist, I guess. Well, they don't have fire resist on those guys. I feel like all their elites having fire resist is not the worst. Especially because it's pretty mild. It's kind of awkward though, because all these fire damage factions are just going to be weaker against them. Makes it harder to balance. I will say the Kadai were a little disappointing. Would have loved to see more Bull Centaurs. Look at how well this guy did. Imagine if he didn't have a Kadai. He could have cooked. Could have taken 50 Bull Centaurs. It's a fun game though. Sea Elemental did great. Very nice. All right. Now remember, the winner of this next match, they are going to be getting a DLC. A lot of tournaments nowadays do not have prizes. But thanks to the kind generosity of Creative Assembly, they have offered to supply my tournaments with 2 DLCs. One for the raffle, just for playing and reporting your replays. And one for the winner of the tournaments. So it's pretty good. Like Hobo Honkers could potentially get like a $20 DLC before sales, of course. Yes, I know you buy it on sale and all that, but still, that's like $10 Canadian value. which is nice. It's a nice little thing. It's also a DLC, so you can play different factions in multiplayer. You know, if there's like a super niche faction that you only want to play in multiplayer and it's not worth it to buy the DLC because you don't want to play their campaign, these tournaments would actually help you get that. Surprised you won that? I think Chaos Dwarves, they didn't really have a good push to get the last points. You need like a lot of cheap mobility, and you have to uptrade a lot better at the beginning. But the high elves with the healing are just slowly uptrading constantly. By the way, Hoba Honkers is gonna have to face the winner of Von Karstein and Berserk. That is pretty rough. That's a rough lineup. I don't know how well they'll be able to do here. We'll see. Chad McCann and W. It did do really well. I think it got almost 2,000 value by the end of it. Can't wait to win the DLC just so I can continue playing only the free LC faction. Is there anyone that comes close to Bretonia? Is there any faction? Let's see here. You want to play Corn? I heard they have pretty good cavalry. Maybe. Yeah, I will say, I'm definitely going to keep up with the nerfs. I think this mod having nerfs, I think that's perfect. All the units that we've been sick of for 50 years, you don't have to look at them anymore. Bearmen are nerfed. Slaanesh is nerfed. It's chill. Imagine a meta that doesn't just have Slaanesh and Norska 24/7. And the great thing too, to encourage people to play a bit more sweaty, having the DLC reward is good. Because when you're just trying to qualify for Turin's tournaments and you've already had enough games to qualify, you're not actually encouraged to go full sweat. And it skews how the data plays out. You know, it's good that you don't have to full sweat, but you're not going to see as many Slaanesh games because why are you practicing the faction that's going to get banned? I love it. I can't wait to reduce the price of some lords next. What if I make Alistair the White Lion? What if I make Alistair the White Lion good? Here, let's take a look-see. I feel like for beastmen, honestly, they see pretty good lord spread, but I think a cheap Kazrak One-Eye could totally crump. Super cheap Kazrak One-Eye. For Bretonia, you make Response better. I'm not going to change your abilities because you want the game to still feel familiar for people coming in from like other tournaments. For the Chaos Dwarves, honestly, a cheaper Zaytan could be really cool. Cheaper Overseer, or maybe even an Astrogoth. It's been a while. Demon Princes across the board need to be cheaper, man. Let's make all the Demon Princes cheaper. It's so bad. For Dark Elves, you got cool guys like Lokir. But the problem is you need to make sure you don't make matchups worse. Because some of these characters are going to be really good in some matchups. They're going to be really good in some matchups. And maybe bad in others. And if you just make dwarves skew even harder versus like some undead factions, let's say. Although dwarves don't skew that hard right now. But yeah, if you make dwarves skew even harder versus Empire or something, no one's gonna like that. Therefore, we should make Thorgrim Grudgebearer cheaper. Cheap Thorgrim. Because shooty factions, I don't think you'd take Thorgrim there. Lord Magistrate. Cheaper Lord Magistrate, maybe. Make Lokir free. Get Fellheart super cheap. A beastman not already strong and played a lot. I want to give all the factions something so that if you're playing in the tournament, you have something to look forward to. I don't want it to be like a creative assembly situation where they only update like 4 factions. And then if you've been waiting months for an update, it just feels kind of crappy. For this one, if you're, you know, no matter who you're playing, you'll at least have something to look at. Many MOBAs just buff never pick stuff to look at how OP it gets to nerf it later again if everyone plays it. I think that's a good way to balance out the game. Definitely the advantage of just being one person. I am able to just make really quick changes. So if anything is just starting to completely dominate, you just nerf it. You just tone it down. And that's why having the grand finals is good. You have people going full sweat. I should do the thing StarCraft does. I think for the maps, they have a community vote, they have a player vote, and they have a caster vote. That could be interesting, but a lot to manage. But could be interesting. Yo, imagine Khorne if, like, the Exalted Bloodthirster was useful. How cheap would this guy have to be before he starts seeing play? You have to be careful, though. He needs to fill a niche. How about cheaper Demon Prince of Khorne? Red Olgor strats? 900 gold Black Orcs? See, you gotta be careful not to monkey's paw it, though, okay? Although, you know... Well, no, like, people will get sick of it so fast. If something is really strong, people tend to get sick of it really fast. Trust. Ooh, Castalton. Dude, if we brought Castalton back. Or like a Boris Ursus. I would totally make Tic-Tac-Toe super cheap. I think Tic-Tac-Toe has so much going for him as like a cool flying duelist. But he's kind of garbage. But I think if you want to bring a cheap lord, the thing is, it's very hard to beat the red crested skink chief in raw utility. And like, I don't know if I can make Tic-Tac-Toe cheaper than that. For the map pool, it's good that it's that way. You think it's bad that they disassembled the Balance Council? I haven't been able to investigate super well. I don't know, like, honestly, I really just watched Loco. So, I don't know how it ended up. Balance Council, I don't know if it was getting the most interesting stuff. But I am but a mere outside viewer. I can accept my ignorance. Nurgle. Epidemius buff. Honestly, Khalida sees play now. That's kind of wild. Tomb King see pretty good use with all their lords. Kind of interesting to see. Like, the meta is just not solved yet. So, like, buffing units just encourages people to try stuff out. But it could very well make things insane. Yo, Mangler Squigs. I should make Mangler Squigs usable again, man. CA, punch them into the ground. I should definitely just, honestly, just buffing up on used units is already good. I should buff up. I don't know. I can only think of Mangler Squigs. But yeah, there's a few rosters that, you know what, let's look at that. I think that's more interesting. There's definitely a few units that are just never going to be used if you don't buff them. Cockatrice, Praeton. I think these guys mostly see play. Hawk Riders, please. I think Hawk Riders could be good. I think I'll be careful about the monsters. We don't want a monster mash meta. Hell, I could buff Grail Knights and Grail Guardians. I could buff Gochek and Felix. I don't know if that makes some... I don't know if that makes a bad meta, though. Be interesting. Undivided spawn. Yeah, they're not really used. No one really uses spawn, really. I'm repeating myself. Well, yo, what if I made Skullcrackers cheaper? Skullcracker and Iron Demons are such similar units. Iron Demons are just better. Skullcracker should be cheaper than this. But also, there should probably be nerfs there. But like, yeah, I like buffs first and foremost. Infernal Guard, see a bit of play. Like, I think in general, the Chaos Dwarf guns could be a little cheaper. Right now, they mostly go man-tied, which is fine, but they gotta have different playstyles, right? A more gun-heavy Chaos Dwarves can't hurt. Honestly, none of these changes will really shake the meta to the core. At least, I hope not. Chaos Demons. I think Chaos Demons could use another Blood Crusher cost reduction, but I'll hold until we get the update. Luminarch. Yeah, I think some of the bloated rosters is where you really want to take a deep dive on. Where is it at? I think, honestly, Skaven have some insane roster bloat. I would say, okay, so here's the thing. Skaven are already really good versus dwarves because of Death Runners. I do think, though, even though Triad C play, like, you almost need to buff them. Plague Monks could certainly be cheaper. I think Plague Monks being cheaper is a step in the right direction. Because right now, Skaven don't have a good anti-infantry unit. Plague Monks and Censer Bearers. They see such niche play, they could use a little bit of love. They got some monsters. Some of these guys, they'll show up every once in a while, though. Tomb Kings don't have a lot of bloat, because not a lot of DLCs. Wood Elves are kind of wild, though. Okay, so I think Hawk Rider buffs, they're really scary because if they become too good, it makes some matchups impossible. You have to be very careful about these guys. I know they're cool and all, but yeah. You have to be super wary of the matchups. Coast. You can make Hulks cheaper, but that just makes them better at man-tiding. You have to be really careful about the changes. Unless I put out a patch, it just completely shakes things up. Rogue Idol. I think some of the slower monsters, making them faster is totally fine. Or making them cheaper. It really is that, like, main-tiding and just stalling them out forever is just kind of rough. And you can shoot them. Like, big monsters that are slow have so many different counters. If they're a bit strong, is that really a problem? You might run into, like, distraction Carnifex situations, though. I think most big monsters, too, if you're gonna make them cheaper, you have to consider greenskins. So, like, greenskins would definitely need something there. Oh, Berserk 1. High Elves versus Berserk's counterpicking. How's it gonna go? Greenskins don't even have healing for the Rogue Idol. I think Rogue Idol would be interesting. Uncle for Uncle would be interesting. I think if Nurgle had a very cheap Uncle for Uncle, they would actually be a lot more competitive. I think Uncle for Uncle, if they cost 1,000 gold, I think maybe then Nurgle would be... Is there a world where Nurgle would be too strong? Let's say Uncle for Uncle was free, and you can always have one Uncle for Uncle on the battlefield at all times. What does that do to the meta? How strong would Nurgle be? Okay, you can constantly YOLO Uncle for Uncle. I think they might still lose to Slaanesh. That's the crazy thing. I don't know if they actually win. On the right map, like if we're talking Edge of the Darkwood, and they have free Uncle for Uncle, I think they still lose. Because what are you supposed to do? He's never going to see combat. Everything else still dies because it's Slaanesh. This is pre-nerf Slaanesh, assuming. It's just such a bad matchup. Oh man, I would love to see it though. Isn't Distraction Carnifex actually good? As in a unit that's balanced enough to be a threat while also not being overwhelming? Well, it's more strategy, right? And right now, Distraction Carnifex isn't really a thing. Unless you have multiple strong things that need shooting at. But like, well, you know, that is a strategy. It doesn't really work, though. I think the only time you see a Distraction Carnifex is in my, like... At least the only instance where I can think of is in my Mazdamundi Shredder of Lustria build. Where the Shredder of Lustria just eats so many heals. I'm going to go to map setup so I don't show builds accidentally. But yeah, the Shredder of Lustria just takes so many bullets, heals so much that it kind of just lives and then all the bullets have gone to waste. It's a pretty fun time. Berserk. Yo, Berserk got 5 wins. They were crushing it. I only had 3 wins. Kind of crazy. Some new players crushing it too. Casper crushing it in the new player league. Fun to see. I gotta change the map. I'm the host. Whoopsie daisies. It's excavation site. Oh, this is a giant map. This map is pretty huge. There's a few choke points, but the infantry reinforcement point is really far. The areas where you route off the map are really far too. I would say this favors mobility gameplay a lot. If Berserk is going for Tzeentch though, that would be sick if they brought Screamers. 650 gold Screamers is one of those things that really makes me wonder if it's gonna make Tzeentch a legit faction. So it brings them into the same tier as Furies. Furies are typically bad versus Cavalry. But if they're Screamers... they have like bonus 30 versus large. And the difference between 650 and 700, you might start getting a unit that you can just throw away to trade out Cavalry. Like, let's say you summon 4 Screamers. That's a 200 gold difference for Berserk. It's not a huge amount, but if the game is close, it means beneficial for Tzeentch. Sometimes you can have situations where, let's say they start with 4 Screamers and they get that 200 gold bonus. Suddenly, maybe you can start making some early game swing plays. And that can lead to a snowball effect where they win very hard later on. We'll see. For Hobo Honkers, it's just Sisters of Avalorn. They're cheaper. I would love to see Sisters of Avalorn, but not a single High Elf player has actually run them. I should also look into the replays too. Any one of these super good. It's a lot of replays. A lot of replays. Did Danican play today? I can't tell. Let me reload Discord real quick. Sisters with overcast reload buff is not a thing anymore. Unfortunately, it was never really a thing. I wish it was, but yeah, it's a little too expensive, sadly. Okay, so we got a lot of submissions. Huh. No one's asking for some replays to be covered though. At least I don't think so. If you do want to me to cover your replays, just submit them and at me. It'll be good to go. No screamers! I can't believe it. Just Cairo shenanigans. Okay. They need to give big monsters extra cat weight, like on tabletop. Extra cat weight for monsters, I think would not be too bad for the really slow ones. Just make it where you have to kill the big monster. And that will encourage people to fight, right? It's not like you can park one giant monster here and one giant monster here and feel good about your extremely long line. It'd only be good for holding the final point, but that's fine. By the way, we got some Shadow Warriors. Only 2. Techless on a bird. Hobo Honkers coming in with lots of healing. No Alariel this time, though. Chain Lightning's hyped, though. And, that's why. Fire resist. So combined with Attuned to Magic, 10% resist. 40% versus most of Tzeentch's shenanigans. And 20%, that's 70% resist against just fire damage, but most of Tzeentch's stuff is magic. In fact, like all of their stuff is magic. But we're still looking at about 50%. Solid for Techless. Mage of Beasts. Just a mana battery to feed into the Techless Chain Lightninging, I guess. Usually just regrowth is enough to spend your money. Chain Lightning gets a little expensive. Cascading Fire Cloak is weird. I don't know why he has that. I don't see a situation where you want that unless you're trying to proc the passive, I guess. What's Techless's passive? Kindle Flame and... Okay, so I guess it's 4 Winds of Magic for 10% resist across the board for 9 seconds. It's not the worst. Just makes your army slightly more effective. But let's take a look at what Berserk has. Kairos, the Fate Weaver. Got Blue Fire of Tzeentch, Tzeentch's Firestorm, and Harmonic Convergence. All pretty scary. And pretty standard. Harmonic Convergence I don't like very much, but a lot of people do. It makes Kairos just a little bit better in melee. Scroll of Destiny for that extra magic, because this is quite a few spells. How's Techless doing? Only alright. It's just a little bit of poke back and forth. But Berserk definitely has that mobility advantage. Using the skirmishers to get some poking in. They do fire damage. So that's gonna be, yep, 50% resistance from Techless. As we see in our Khorne campaign though, we know that even insane amounts of resistance will still be pretty bad if you're getting shot at. Kairos actually overextending a little bit. Though he might be able to keep himself alive. Cascading Fire Cloak is cast though. Techless does extra damage now. Gets 2 hits for almost 1,000 damage off of Kairos. Using Cascading Fire Cloak effectively pretty good. Kairos is injured. Here's the thing though, Kairos never dies. If you've ever played against Tzeentch, if you've ever played against Kairos, you know Kairos never dies. The guy has too much leadership, too many shields, and too many evasive maneuvers. He sees the future, man. He knows he's gonna live. And he's just gonna dance around and distract a little bit.
Victory point.
Still though, the damage is still nice. It means Kairos can't be nearly as aggressive. Good volley too from the Storm Riders. They shoot faster than other archers because they have move and shoot. And so far so good. What Berserk is doing though is smart. Tactically speaking, look at that. They're moving in like so. By the way, we did not make the Shrieking Sky Rays cheaper because I already used a lot. So right now, both armies are actually still vanilla. Ooh, good spell from Kairos too. And the Shriek on these guys. But yeah, Berserker's doing a classic maneuver called the Deny Flank. Maybe this is a bit wider than the usual Deny Flank. But essentially, he knows he's stronger in this location, so he's not going to fight in this area. Sounds simple, but a lot of people are like, if enemy in front, I attack. And they just walk in. You have to resist the urge and take fights that are better for you. And by burning the arrows of the Shadow Warriors, he's farming value without needing to commit. It's very smart. This still could go south though. A couple horsemen accidentally charge into some spears. They have to turn around. Screamers are okay though versus Teclis. I don't think he'll be able to win against them. But if he kills them here with the spears, that's certainly a plus. You want to get all 5 uses of Lamprey's Bite on this unit to ensure they get their value. It's a little bit sketchy. I do worry for the Spearmen though. A little bit more damage and it's going to be rough. Silver Helms are definitely not going to trade versus the Doom Knights either. Doom Knights get in there, just pummeling them. A little rough. The high armor on these guys means they actually take no damage at all, basically, from those Silver Helms, and that's a almost 1,000 gold loss. Berserk doing well so far, tactically I'd say, but Hobo Honkers is still getting a lot of just general value trades. You gotta remember Teclis can heal too. The value trading's kind of close. He even manages to get this capture point, maybe with the spears. It's gonna be close. I don't think he's gonna get it though. Oh my goodness. Berserk with the tantalizing hold. Oh my goodness. There was not a single red pixel left. Typically though, with these very high level players, you see them trying to toe the line on barely holding the point. Because you don't benefit from holding the point super hard, right? If you hold it, you get all the value from the point, even if it's mostly captured. So why not spend a little bit more time chasing off units, only to barely not lose it at the end of the day. He gets his spears, nice little value pick there. And I think Hobo Honkers is a little worried. I would be a little worried in his position. We got some flamers over here. The shooting's not very strong. Most of the value is in Teclis. But the Dragon Princes might be able to change things. Now with Doom Knights on the field and some Screamers, I would not be so comfortable. Let's take a look at those Flamers. Big volley on the Spearmen. Big cast on the Chaos Warriors though. Teclis punching back. But like, what is really on the battlefield for the High Elves? Let's take a look. We see basically a dead Spearman. White Lions are probably gonna die after. They do have 2 Shadow Warriors, a Teclis, and some Dragon Princes. That's it. The Fireborn are really gonna have to hard carry. Tzeentch still has a lot of threats. They got Flamers. Finally, some normal Screamers. Now, Berserk is gonna need to dip below 50 supplies for this unit to actually have an impact on the battlefield. But if he summons more, then maybe the Tzeentch buffs will be good. Teclis did actually kill off the Doom Knights too. Don't even know how. Was it Teclis? What did he do, man? How'd he kill the Doom Knights so hard? They just got massacred. I don't think Chain Lightning... Maybe it does. Maybe Chain Lightning does a lot of damage to them? I don't know, but Teclis is kind of crushing it with that. Eats a Flamer volley, but he doesn't care. He's having the time of his life. Still has a lot of ward save. And a second Screamer does arrive. That's a 100 gold advantage to Berserk that he usually would not have when playing Tzeentch. Few volleys on the Fireborn doing good too. Couple was this Exalted Pinks. People are really pushing the Tzeentch meta. You'll love to see it. And the Screamers have surrounded Teclis. Honestly, pretty good. I don't think the buffs were huge, but they're definitely helping Berserk a little bit. Techless, though, he's probably gonna live. Gets a big regrowth. He's not on fire, so he benefits fully from the healing. And the High Elves, where are those Dragon Princes at? Well, they have Oceanids. The Dragon Princes? Oh, crap. No, the Dragon Princes are straight up dead. Did they get Tzeentch's Firestorm? Probably not. Not enough value on Kairos. I think they probably just got... What happened to them? How'd they die so hard? I don't know what happened, but that's pretty bad. They have 0 value. Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's pretty bad. The net and spell spam on Fireborn did them in. Was it that bad? Maybe that's where all of Kairos' value came from. He didn't do that much damage. Did the Exalted Pink Skull come? Maybe it was a mix of the two. Totally missed it. Why are Blood Crushers considered lousy? Compare them to Fiends of Slanesh, and they're really bad. They're really bad. The slow speed puts them in a bad position. But yeah, I think Berserk is gonna win this handily. Gets the net on Techless, gets the Doom Bolt, starting to focus fire. He doesn't care that Techless is tanky. He's gonna kill him anyways. Slowly but surely. And the Screamers have secured mobility dominance. Fireborn, I get the charge in, but Exalted Pinks are just a little too rough to deal with. They got 40, almost 40 melee defense. They are actually pretty decent hybrid infantry. And High Elves are now behind on value. Now, including the Techless heals, maybe it's a bit better. But if you just look at the battlefield, this is very clearly a Tzeentch, a commanding Tzeentch position, right? He's got the skies covered in Screamers. They're doing great. I don't think there's much else that can be done. Skull Crusher shield and spear makes a difference. Yeah, I don't know. All of Khorne's cavalry is kind of jank, I'm not gonna lie. Kairos getting whooped. Not enough, though. Kairos, like I said, is indestructible. He's not dead until he's actually dead. And if you waste time trying to bully him, you're gonna lose a lot of value. As you can see here, Techless is not faring super well. He's dodging, he's juking, trying his best. He's gonna live. There is gonna be a double cap for the High Elves. But honestly, there's so few units. I think given infinite time, Berserk actually is fine. Yeah, no. If you gave the High Elves infinite time, I think Tzeentch with such a value lead, they will just slowly get more and more of a value lead. You need a lot of misplays to come back here. He's going to charge in with the Reavers, but they're going to get countercharged by the Marauder Horsemen. Techless is gone now from Kairos' Blue Fire spam. And the Screamers surrounding everything pretty good. It's nice to see them get used. You like almost never see vanilla Screamers. How'd they do though? Not too crazy, honestly. They this one got 1,000 value actually. Did this one kill the Fireborn? I don't know. Did not catch it. But there you go, the Cav's dead. And the final blue fire on Techless. Goodbye, Techless gets knocked off. Ooh, that's gonna hurt in the morning. And that's gonna be it. GG! Well played. Congratulations to Berserk with the Tzeentch victory. Good stuff. Yeah, 0 value on Fireborn. That's gonna do you in. Honestly, I think Berserk had enough answers to Fireborn though, where there just really wasn't much to be done. The Exalted Pinks did very well. I think Berserk just played a clean game. The guy just played a very, very clean game. Some good Screamer play. This is the only one that really did above and beyond. The others were only okay. Gotta keep an eye on it. Any unit you change could have a big impact. But yeah, that's good. So congratulations to Berserk. Tournament prizes. Congrats at Berserk on the win. You get a free DLC of your choosing. Raffle winner will be in 20. I'm gonna do it in 27 minutes. So get those replays in. Yo. Nice win. What DLC would you like? I'll be able to get a code in a day or two. Any DLC, yes. He used the army doombolt on the Fireborn. Oh, that explains it. That's why the Zinch Valley tracker wasn't as good as it could have been. Techless got 3k though. That's not enough. Flamers did well. Doom Knights did well. When your whole army's doing good, that, you know, you can't fall behind. It's impossible, right? Kairos did well. The only guy that did bad was like the one Chaos Warrior that ate the bird ability. Everyone else did above and beyond any amount of value that you'd expect. So GG! Well played. Hope you guys had a wonderful time. We will be picking the raffle winner in 27 minutes. And we should be good to go. Berserk also qualifies, by the way, for the grand finals. I might have like a solid, you know, like $100 prize pool or something for that. We'll see. Replays are flooding in too. Can you show more replays? Yeah, sure. You know what, Zach, since you brought it up, I'll show your replay. Did you send in a replay today? If you sent in a replay and you want me to take a look, let me know. I am a little busy. I want to eventually go over like more replays and such. But you know what? This is perfect. I think I found one that might be good. So this is a replay from the tournament today. Let's see it. Oh my gosh, what is this? You didn't participate, you just like the analysis? All right. Well, they did kind of sell this one. Casper. Great match against Nambark. Unkillable Archaon versus unkillable Dreadsaurian. All right, let's take a look at this real quick and then we'll call it. How to convince Back to Warcraft to try this game? Honestly, I don't know how to sell Warhammer. It's fun though, it's competitive. It's surprisingly competitive. It's also a relatively small scene, so if you want to actually push the meta, a lot of games have fairly well-developed metas. Ooh, big burning head. A lot of games have very well-developed metas. And unless you're a very strong player, it can feel difficult to change things. With Warhammer, it is so kind of Wild West that you can just come in, get really good at the game, change the scene completely, all while not having to play as a full-time job. It's pretty nice. It's one of the main appeals for me, where you can just try out some crazy stuff. This is pretty insane though. Look at Archaon charging straight into Temple Guard. Gets out of there though. Shredder Illustria getting smacked by the Soul of Damnation. Gonna pull away. Getting healed. Gonna get shot at again. This thing doesn't do fire damage, so It doesn't slow down the healing at all. And Archaon stands watching, ready for his prey. Is he gonna go for it though? Dude, Archaon, you're insane. No, he goes for the Saurus Scarvet instead. This guy has anti-large, also a bad idea. Rotting Riders have been brought in too. Unfortunately, the ROR, which did not get a price reduction. Oh my gosh, dude, Archaon's cooking. Oh my gosh, look at that stat line. He took everything. Armor of Morcar. He's got the Slayer of Kings. Generally not recommended, but that guy just completely crumped the Scarvet. Insane. Okay. Is he gonna go for the Shredder of Lustria next? He does. Look at this guy. This is a true Everchosen, man. He's ready for a fight. But can he kill it? Can it be done? Well, he's doing his bestest. Sometimes he can be a little janky getting hits in. And I would generally put my money on the Shredder of Lustria. When it comes to these super big targets, it's more of a long grind to kill them with a lot of cycle charging. If you stay in combat against them, it can be pretty bad. Overall, though, not terribly played from Chaos. You can see they've gone to a very big lead. Archaon getting that big pick was really nice. Oh, they were Skull Crushers. That's why. I would recommend not taking Skull Crushers. Though they are doing better than usual. It doesn't seem like they ever really pay for themselves. Rotting Riders, also not really paying for themselves though. Cavalry in a vacuum tend to do pretty bad overall. And my advice would be, you know, get the infantry in there first and then have the cavalry cycle charge. If your infantry are winning, this actually really is higher level tech. But if your infantry are winning the fight, your opponent has to play in your backfield with their cavalry, and then you get omega value trades because you're gonna have more guys at your disposal to help out. Maybe you're reinforcing infantry, maybe you get a cav surround. It's great. In this case, the lizardmen have the infantry advantage and your cavalry are forced to go into the backfield to try and swing the battle in your favor. But because your cavalry don't really perform really well in the backfield, that's just a bad situation for you. So my recommendations, try to find advantages elsewhere because your cavalry is not going to cook. You either need to have enough infantry to win the frontline fight, or you just spend time farming with your Hell Cannon. Nothing wrong with that. The tickets are still very fresh, so why not? By going in so aggressively, the trades are probably going to be in the favor of the lizardmen. Shredder of Lustria, though, big terror out on the Marauders. Archaon is on Mazdamundi's tail. I will say Archaon's pretty tanky, but there are a few plays here. They did mention Archaon looked unkillable. It's mostly because the Shredder is not fighting him. Look at the stats. 48-51. Archaon is 60 and 60. The Shredder of Lustria would have a 15% chance to hit Archaon normally, but with the charge bonus, it goes from like 15-20% to like 35-40% chance to hit Archaon, and that's going to be enough. Especially if it hits Archaon on the flanks, he's not going to have the same melee defense. But maybe not. He does have that armor of Morcar, making him super hard to hit. Whiffs again. Archaon's facing the right direction this time, but it's still not a bad idea. You just have to position your single entities correctly. If you attack from behind, he gets 60% less melee defense, and you're basically guaranteed to hit. He's kind of getting pushed around too, which is nice. Ooh, big drop from the Knights of Immolation. Are we gonna see it? Hey, there we go. There's a big Shredder of Lustria hit. And if he can just land a couple more Archaon dies, definitely one of the strongest Archaons we've seen though. Most of the time, players will take the items off to save money, and they just play a little bit more defensively with the guy. Because honestly, leaving him in combat doesn't do you that much most of the time. But you can't argue with 3,000 gold worth of value. Shredder misses again. I will say, it feels like the Shredder is missing more often than not. There's finally a hit though, and now Archaon's gonna be forced to flee. He's getting real tired, so his melee defense is dipping. And I think Lizardmen win this. Soul of Damnation can no longer fire. Forced to be desummoned. And the Shredder heals up. Archaon the tanky. Got a lot of value. Searing Doom on Masamundi, not recommended. Save that for Cavalry. But will he die? He did actually manage to escape. I will say Archaon is quite slippery. I do wish that Kolek was a little more popular though. I do kind of miss the Kolek meta, but so be it. But yeah, without some Axe Thors or something, this Shredder is just gonna get too much value. It's getting more than like a Thunder Barge would get. Almost 4,000 value. As Chaos, I would definitely recommend having at least 4 Horsemen. And then you gotta keep them safe. If you had Horsemen here, imagine the value they could get just shooting into the Shredder or shooting into Masamundi. That's probably the way you want to go. Give Kolek a mega weapon strength. I would love to, but it's probably just gonna be a price reduction for now. Until I get really good at balancing the game. It's too easy for me to muck things up. Like, I would need some pretty hefty community backing before I can actually change the stats of units and them to feel like I'm not just completely borking things. Fun game though. What's this? Unit details. Oh, interesting. I always use the hotkey, but there you go. Is Arcane gonna die? Yeah. He lives technically, but he was on his way out. Shredder of Lustre gets insane value. I will say it was fun to see him use Slayer of Kings to just dunk on this guy. 89 value is embarrassing for him. But yeah, Rotting Riders didn't do super good. Oh, these were Skull Crushers, not Blood Crushers. Still didn't do that well, but 1500's not bad. They did better than the Knights of Immolation, which is impressive. And yeah, if I was playing Chaos, I would always have 4 Skirmishers in reserve to counter this kind of stuff. Chaos doesn't have a lot of monster killing power without the Horsemen. But alright, GG. What's a hotkey? I. You have to hit I to bring up this tooltip for units. Alright. Good day. It was a good day. Solid tournament day. No bugs with the bot. That was good. And in 15 minutes, I will get the raffle winner for everyone who submitted 2 replays for today's tournament. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everyone. And I hope to see you next time. Tomorrow. I'll figure out what faction I'll play and we'll have a solid tryharding. Maybe I do a tryharding with Khorne without using those super bad cav units, man. They feel so bad. Still though, maybe only a tiny buff will get them into the meta. I don't know. We'll see.